at the time we are seeing now more deno. At least me brother-in-law, ni baba ko Archbishop Potter Girls or 10 years say free SHS akwara onto your school fees now. And then ni baba ko yamano agree. Obi yamano agree. Or say presec unse Ghana and I say West Africa. E be a presec adruti. E busani na ba say membo. Now uncle presec. And I'm so
Asempa FM.
But my chemu say I see West Africa. Yeah, number 1 into no. E be a me fan no. And he said, Education Minister, here, official government spokesperson, never more a day, a bus school placement on Kaimi, Obi, Presec, 1 slot. Now, Obi, and then, my brother-in-law, Nibano Baba call Agri, Senyami, Education Minister, Emma Doma, Presec, no school fees, Obi, no boarding fees, Bibia Abine, and Obi. And then I follow countries, be what we are saying, Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm president. You see, on resign. Minister says, only in India. Sika crop, we better fuel. And they are share generator up our plant. Every new and to do so, they cost war. But only say, we are seeing more than now, Suba Ghana, Yakuba Dome, Yansala and Top Petrol. Uko filling station, Utimania Petrol, Obi. And then Dr. Koboy, not 300 Ghana cities. And I am full tank, semi cano, and this is for Seni Cano. Maybe now, Obi, instead of 300, no. Say me return to 500 and I'm in the tank. And Ghana nibi catch or say Ghana near my idea on transfer ayampa. Now to Obi because near my way bet less you know. And Tina Ekufa buying I sure say Ghana Haiti Ubabe Kostua lives so mu. And Tina Ekufa buying I sure say still near Beijing perform a public sector. Now create opportunities Obi. And Tina I sure say a beer fast still in Ubet now. Everybody up a hole. And to best Ghana for 11 now. Yakuba Drum, Yegina, some say, Obi. I bet what I'm a sassy can I hear Busiana Yakobo Duduano, a better form. Ubobra, Obi, not Busiana Odibobra. They be a said who look at say Prema, Nansu Coffee Obre. Ghana, your man over the years for a long time in Obi. Yet the Busia and a boy a bra. And now,
Asempa FM.
I bet Wama Busabo night, Akofom. Obi, intimacy. Never boy, now so, Oko Nigeria, Obi, fuel, Omunyabinton, Ghana High Yabi, Messi Ghana for, Doom so, and Ramiko Dufie, and I do levy Obi. Mitimi so fun. Sebi, and we are sharing with your condition. And baby, I do no Obi. Fun cry eddie. And Miss Remo, Obi, Miss Ghana for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. On him, the entire bedroom be a Bruno. Now the only the entire bedroom be a Bruno. On of a wire, am I a free Obi, alternative no, and serious. One shot, a buffo, Obeka say, oh, and I cry a bread, and say, Obi. What's about 252? Now I did stand over fear, over day. I continue. Ghana ha for 3 years. Obi, who fear, who won't be so light. Asempa, say a bawa. Mu diesel generator me year point cry and sana chrome for or mine for omotimika and Obi Dr. Kobo me wie no me say
Kasano lawyer Eduji Tamaklo
na lawyer
or the message about good afternoon Obi, but government is going to borrow $2 billion to pay for maturing liabilities
Obi.
Or
Presec there are tenses.
Yes,
there are 3 kinds of tenses.
yes,
there's a present tense.
yes,
there's a past tense.
Yes.
You even have past participle. He's even talking about the future.
yes.
Government is going to borrow. The point I'm making is that as we speak, we've never been in tax debt default. Yeah, you know my time I do I see into anything to ya. Now the point is that once the e-levy inflows come, even if you borrow 7, you'll be in a better position to service the debt. And by the way, nobody is saying that we will never borrow. The rate of debt accumulation, I was saying, ever formed.
Okay.
Now, Obi, between 2009 to 2016 December,
Asempa FM.
President Mills may so rest in peace. Any John Dramani Mama, Omupori no Muporo Ghana, a bit see what we are seeing. Omuporo over 1,200%, from 9.5 billion to 122 billion. And to be slow, one share, not sebi. James, Ekofé, Bishop Babe manage Chroma Obi. The debt accumulation record, idea, and to be whole mind, and to be we should continue to have faith in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia any the Kufado government. Now, send a munina musugu yesuno. Sana yesu yebeya ahukeka. Ama ya yimunina afi oha obi.
Very well. Doc, my say na unia isa enamase for passing through. And to be I will get you guys back after the speech. Now, yasia your review of the speech.
Why you come up? Bibia chese wa be say aban we na ye mpa e bo say ye nyina ye nko enim etiefo e ko emu enim no na obi ko nenim na Dr. Bawumia so e ko nenim nyame hia
exams ne ko say bibia ko ye
obi umma me look for John Austin na be ba has skills be we say no na ko enim
the Dr. Bernardo Koboy and Moten and Kano. You go see the Jumedian Bremo live from the Pentecost Convention Center, Kaswa Millennium City. And TESCON one training and orientation program. ENRA and Akosoba, they are climaxing that event with the speech from His Excellency the Vice President. Dr. Bawumia will be speaking on the economy. And some of the TESCON executives also at Nase na afe yasheni anyone etumi edi and come on how training AC Ekoye Enra and afe and more expectations from the Vice President and area. And the TESCON executives they be transfer. But let me remind you, now what is happening here? Pentecost
Asempa
Convention Center,
FM.
Facebook, Ubenya live videos of what's happening. Kaswaha, no who said in Yoma, AC Echo. In the TESCON executive in the back, Babet chain, Ubenya Kwaban saying,
Naminadum Obi,
Udini
Samuel Anobubedu,
Samuel Amabel
the
Baby.
National TESCON Coordinator.
Oh, we are National TESCON Coordinator.
Ochonyo.
Wow. And Enra and what's been happening? A training program there.
Ozikan Madawasi, Wakunya is Amam.
Yes.
Michia witi fu pimpima witi go. Yaza Fanina.
Okay.
Naminadum da, yes, a shadow.
Okay.
National TESCON Orientation Program. Na in Yama Ozikan 2019 yebi or Legon.
Okay.
Na Oyenshia National Youth Wing over there. Otoberto Berno, Yabefre TESCON executives. Nitiru, Ona Wadano, that's the delegate,
Okay.
Women's Commissioner, National Coordinator, and the President. You're from one Ayamon entity. And in the da, Yamina Dumara, Yinya, Yeti, the former General Secretary of the party, now local government minister of this government, Honorable Dambuchi, no, Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Abdulhamid.
Okay.
Obey, they took us through the ideology of the party and what we stand for. Yake mbebuni yake school fee. Osade yinyi mbebe aye free ba na bibi so ayede. Yerko. Inti the entity was yen film na oyi so papa. But one as they are rich experience that they came to share and what we have to know and stand for as the youth of the party or TESCON of the youth wing of this noble party.
Okay, so that's what happened Enra.
Yes.
Now apart from the two gentlemen, the Mustafa Hamid and Dambuchi, which other party stalwarts never be firm when
Nda yesan yenya
Asempa FM.
former ministers of state that I cannot really recollect.
Okay.
They took us through other various forms of topics and end of the day na we jumezibi pinto ya na me pray kaka. But let me we were expecting somebody like Honorable Asempa, who is the founding president or inaugural president of TESCON. But Yamin Charles and the pay over Kenyan and and the pay over Kenyan and so when you film my wash in bra was chassis TESCON KNUST the year 2000 Saint Inter TESCON what's away. Now we're in today from 1996 1992 MPP Amayoku Yako Awiyem Kakausan and I results and Adam Yentumin Kakambumi. Into TESCON or Mbebun our various campuses. That time I one friend TESCON, even that's prior to 2000. I one friend TESCON. But in the year 2000, the then candidate Kufo took opportunity to inaugurate the association on KNUST campus at the Great Wall. And that the member Nana Asenso Boachi, now cabinet minister of this government, no a student or he was the inaugural president. Now we fair to one but call maybe today is ceremony. Northern region, Upper East, Upper West, and then I want them time one teaching. Echo from Mantema. What's a one okay campaign? No what one see there were bushy no our ballot box no ben. None of the no ya the experience that Damboche shared. There, in the year 2000, and Brown students work for polling stations across the country. Test confound school was one was one buffer. No, we could do voter region. What was the mercenaries? If you are cry about voter region, that's by the NDC and the stakeholders of voter region then. What's what the mercenaries about voter region was one but back to police headquarters. And the students were charged without inducement, without any motivation there. No, they are going back to voter region to go and police the ballot. And no wonder we won the 2000 elections.
Asempa
And not only 2000 elections. Tescon has played a role in all general elections, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024. Tescon is going to play a major role. They have been taken through the role of social media. And in there, social media has become very powerful too. And you want to have team. Then my will go on and leadership training. In the general secretary of the party, Mr. John Boydu, who has served as a youth treasurer, youth organizer, acting general secretary, also shared his experience and also the ideology of the party and how they are going to set up the party school.
As national TESCOM coordinator, and going around the country, more in over 200 institutions across the country.
We have about 280 institutions.
80?
Yes, please.
280?
Yes, please.
280 institutions across the country that TESCOM.
Yes.
Going around the country, when the TESCOM members do you get the feeling, sir, they appreciate and understand the ideology of the NPP and what more forebears a year proud to 2000, no? This time, given the opportunity,
necessarily na yes one for the minty team other you can bifurcation orientation na ye kwa proa me da mu hu de party mba oye school for TESCON wadam etunwa sunsun de wo bosom party but otobe to be no so say ye kaka ye be bia yen papa no wo fi na be my aboto so ye den ye bon be na ye zibokwanyi. And I think that the youth of this party are really appreciative of the fact that we are coming from a very humble background. Then ye man ye ba ye man ye party fun kuti na
Asempa
in shishe biara MPP aman yoku ye kan Buzia Dombo tradition from Buzia about His Excellency the former President John Ajekun Kufuor, now His Excellency Nana Danko Kufuor and Dr. Bawumia. In shishe biara ye biara oboga na man. Yenjuni yankote yen President Kufuor na bredo health insurance or the bay. Wama enkofa woko hospital pe we nyankwa. But oma njuma so bay. In the equal all regional should I say regional coordinating council and the regional capitals. We go health insurance office or in Kofa we university, we police, we more driver for all across the country. Eco district, you have a driver for administrators, managers, Adinjuma Bay, Metro Mass, Zoom Lion, in the Yaba and YE was the big what in Shina. And the most striking of all in our present time is the free senior high school. Free senior high school. If you biara, ebusie biara, enya free senior high school unfaso. Each of the MPP amanyeku, yanjuni yankote yan, yedwin amanfo no won, na mo woni wisum de, yebotuado not only in 2024, but yebotuado 2028, le 2032 ina yedin hyepa egu akwem, me biaka mbebun nititu a school for our omanim.
Okay, in the National TESCOM Coordinator, and I'm telling Kano, over the past 2 days, they've been here at this venue in training, in the National TESCOM Training and Orientation Conference 2022. The National Youth Wing of the party, together with Dankwa Institute and Bawumia, are training, and the Vice President is climaxing it with a speech. There's another TESCOM member. We're a TESCOM member. Ashanti Region TESCOM Coordinator. After training
Asempa FM.
you should now be abreast with more party ideology. In the whole understanding of MPP ideology.
Okay, so yeba hanumo no adeba kwa enra yehu ye ne say MPP party a ye nananom led by the Dankwa Dombo Buzia Mono, Omode Omakuma Opepa, they committed themselves to the cause of service. Omoye Omadrin said, no matter how intimidated that they are going to be, no, Omobijina, no more no credit. Now, I'm making sure say, conservatives, no. Na ya protected the individual rights and freedoms of citizenry. And only idea a MPP for yen yet. Over the years, and nona on Mampenuku for Dr. Buzia Modi can buy on Mampenuku for Mobeto as one and Kufa the Motuaso. On me who say any poor policy bia your mem hebia a policy a MPP and a diabana. Essentially, a school for a team research. Na ye hu say ye no kra na say ye no kra nso ntino ye nso ye hwehwe mu ne hu say e ya mpa nti ye party no any party a ebitimi aboa Ghana man ye mabuni a ye kosua ne school for din sa osue de na esan say eboa ema developing nipa develop the human resource based ntino and then the human capital base, that is the best for us, and we don't find ourselves in the wrong party at all.
Nti for who as a youth my national youth organizer akase in this current administration, 95% of the young appointees now are former TESCON members. How does that motivate you?
Obi, that's a very nice question. You see, I'm from Ashanti region, so let me use my region as a case. Oba Ashanti region, nipa bakwa, what that sonko ewo mampeni Akufo-Addo amemu mu ye lawyer Justin Kodu Afenpong. And no a former deputy youth organizer of Ashanti region. Or twice be regional youth organizer. Nyankopon Ebuamani Beye, CEO of the Youth Employment Agency, and he's referred to as the longest serving CEO. Oh, why? Before so Babano, now why a baby and now why you now the name have been for and then Sunyamiadum, Nyankopon, I'm no swama, and why you na Babijina. As a youth from the region, when I look up to somebody like him, Ofri me region. Na Nyankopon de na dru baby a wadu no na obabe si won one dine in the human relation with yenya free region ho any ade na also impo also pese or when your dream is obey general secretary no it motivates me to do more say me so say nyame boa na me so me still committed to the cause of the party now ebe boa me ama me so many so ade hunu bia me politically no enso etimi
abem fantastic inti Ashanti regional TESCON coordinator and a national TESCON coordinator yebeda mo ase for passing through great Ekosiisen Suni Asempa 94.7 FM still coming to you live from the Pentecost Convention Center, Millennium City, Kaswa, Ehona, Yewo, the TESCON National Training and Orientation Program 2022. And training and orientation but the Vice President has chosen this platform to speak to the country about the economy, and it will bring you that speech live on Asempa 94.7 FM and on all other social media platforms. And for MIA, meaning your say Bonsu. We are still speaking to some TESCON members pass it through the show. We'll go back to the government appointees tonight. They are saying at us. What am I saying? I don't go in the saying.
Your friend may often Sheila.
Often Sheila. Often.
Yeah.
How often are you spelling the same?
OFFEN.
Often Sheila.
Yeah.
Wow. Where are they in?
Me papa ye Asante ni na me mama ye kuapem ni.
In the often me Asante din.
Often no me fa free me papa.
Papa.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. TESCON member.
Yes.
Who institution?
Asempa FM.
Who are KNUST?
Yes. Me former TESCON member.
We are former TESCON executive.
TESCON executive, but once a TESCON member, always a TESCON member.
Always a TESCON member.
Yeah.
Okay. Into Obaha as a former TESCON member.
Yes.
Fantastic. Indeed. Enrana waha.
Enrana mini ha. Enna mitiminya akonya no beka.
Wababa cancer. Good. Indeed. For you as a former TESCON member, no, what inspired you to join TESCON? And then about joining TESCON. TESCON, the youth, part of the youth wing of the New Patriotic Party, and then since I'm sending in my for ANPP4, and to make us almost share me, but from Kufo time, Ninyuma Park for the Goo or Bampany for the Goo, Aquemu, now if you suma NPP4, NDC4, Ebefa, Akonyano. Me do investing, I've always joined NPP, my constituency, and everywhere I go. It's in my mama, Domna, me call KNUST, no. I me call me studies, no. And I mean, who say
NPP no fraternity na esa wo youth wing our campus. In some supporting new patriotic party na dey na. Also hono nso mi di mi hu because na mebru no ye na e da achi no. Na yen chane foundation no yen kra mu ye said be ya. Ye betumi ato NPP new apan so because me nipa wo ho nipa nso ni yen na ye ba yi no ye na da achi bi ye be so mu say akran the little that we can no ya so mu a ye etani na inspire me say member na memeka ho being always been an NPP member no memeka ho say the be ya always no ye betimi project NPP no any enyuma pa NPP aban no
Okay, you were born into an MPP family.
I was born, but when I grew up, you know, I got to make the decision by myself. My parents had me farm me, but me and minimum, yeah, me pay any me know what is right and what is good. And I spoke to myself, and I can see say the new patriotic party, no, idea me pay me obi answer me so. Me do me chefi o munima painting.
Into our understanding of the party ideology. And your more orientation are in sync with your personal ideology.
Yeah.
In what's the ideology of the party you support? NPP, what does NPP believe in? Are attractive to one Jema or joining NPP?
NPP believe in, and baby NPP, I believe in is to say omo babeso economy. No na omo beboa e de enyem ama enyem agugu akwan mu. Me ntimi nka bi kwate me de metimi aka no free SHS. Intervention program ye na ebedi wadan say aboa obia. The ideologies I wouldn't say one, but bebre into one intervention make any free SHS. Nanse ya think say lady ya okọ National Science and Math Space, Francisca, or you're beneficiary to the free SHS. And you see, say, baby, I did not approach you. And you know, say, it's me now, Bambi now, or the name of be say, I think, say, we should all support. And this ideology now is a general agenda, not want to be precise, but some would never go, no move your mind is to if the back kind of crime I am one, apart from NPP in the party, be any hope, I'll be soon.
But I want to say there were center-right political parties and there were center-left political parties. Do you know which one the NPP, your party, belonged to? When you MPP there? Some way a center-right and I'm way a center-left. Do you know?
I know, dear.
You don't.
I don't know, but okay. As time goes on, I'm still learning and people are still grooming me.
Okay. I won't feel better saying.
Mpacho ehu be yin asa meka. Am person can be this
Asempa FM.
Where do you see yourself in this party? Do you think that you have the opportunity to grow in the NPP?
Yes, because right now no me champagne phobia say na menya me other colleagues in so kakan kakra mu gumi me. It's not a day thing, it's a journey. And it's obe bro once na obe share opinion bi ase a. I think it's obe bo kakan because currently no me share lawyer Justin Kodja from Pon say or bo me kakan kakra.
Very well. That you support his bid to be general secretary.
Very.
Sir.
Yes, na obe banso.
Often
Sheila.
Mamenase, that's a part. Ekosiisen say hi Asempa 94.7 FM. Enti o adwen tra unso betimi e de abrain. Okay, let me see. Enti enche meba me yedin ko ba answer no ma memfa menye happy birthday dedication we na yento aso. So what we need National Lottery Authority, the head of human resource our National Lottery Authority, HR head, Lady Madam Sheila Atiemo, and I would a happy birthday to you, Sheila Atiemo, head of HR, the National Lottery Authority. Do have a good one and live to be 94.7 and beyond. The Honorable Collins Adomako Mensa, Efija Kwabre North, Member of Parliament. Honorable Akwaba, let's say, Ekoye.
Yeah,
fantastic. That one because we are delegate in the youth wing.
Absolutely.
A young member of parliament.
38 years.
Oh, you are 38.
Yes.
Wow. In Enra now.
Baby, no namini.
Okay.
And then no the number of baby and mama. But of course,
Asempa FM.
The tension, the expectations.
At uni, now we are a member of TESCON.
Yes. Hey, we go on strong member. Strong members. And I'm starting. I'm so impressed. Nana B.
Oh, okay.
And the entire youth wing, my idea, papa. For many time, I'm going to Samuel.
Oh, okay.
So strong of TESCON.
Wow. Inti, where do you see TESCON in the affairs of the NPP? How high does the party rate TESCON?
To see, say the national youth organizer, the national organizer, the general secretary, regional youth organizers. Umunina went through TESCON. It tells us as of now, TESCON actually controls the administration of the party. For the national youth organizer, any general secretary, Umunina went through the TESCON process. It's party no recognized, and that is why you can see the current leadership as more through the TESCON process. There are a group of people that you rate very, very high. Let me call me election say a lot of the youth groups within the party.
It's about constituency.
A very, very important wing of the party now.
You serve on the finance committee in Ghana's parliament, and the vice president is speaking about the economy. What expectations here then?
Well, first of all, and expectation, the expectation of Ghanaians.
Yeah.
And it's about his side of the story, if I may say so, because for the past 2 to 3 months, Bawumia, his former president, crisis said the police for much, and then the police for my expectation is that first of all, on my end, a brief history, baby, on the fact economy free, baby, on what could do
Asempa FM.
After COVID, baby, on what could do, and going forward, what he intends to do as the head of the economic management team.
But some of you are part of the government communications team, Are you prepared for this post-speech debate?
I'm not quite a meeting. For this time round, you're not debating any more intellectual. Sometimes, Dr. Bawumia Kasaria, and sometimes that's a video. Mestre said, from now, based on the presentation of the Dr. Bawumia will be in. He does a lot of data work. We are sure, sir, a lot of data will be coming out. You take your time from watching throughout the weekend. You analyze data. Dr. Bawumia, like him or hate him, I think it's gradually, in a very skillful manner. We occupy about 60 to 70% of our political communication. And then Kasaria, for the next 1 week, it's all going to be Bawumia.
Honorable, my didn't come over after this speech. Yeah, he's a member of the Finance Committee in Ghana's Parliament. The Honorable Colin Sadomako Mensah, MP for the Fija Kwabre North constituency, and a member of the Finance Committee in Ghana's Parliament. He's also one of the youth delegates, 38-year-old MP, or a part of the young MPs in Ghana's Parliament who have the opportunity to vote in the National Youth Wing elections of the party. So, Eastern Region are the current regional youth organizer for the party. Eastern Region, the Jerry Osei Poko. He's lazy his boot to contest for the regional organizer in the Eastern Region. Jerry, it's saying,
Obi.
As a me who watch it. Eastern Region Boko.
Eastern Boko.
I want to learn in the
I want to the zone say,
yes.
I want to know a real Fanel. And you're Ghana, and I even over Ghana.
Asempa FM.
Who has when we are discussing a whole trouble we are here. Yeah, in the end, there's a Ghana isolated environment, and I say, I see, and I inquire a set of Nehemiah effort. We are baby, the situation is the same. See, and then was there for Kasa, they keep, especially NDC for no bumper by us. They keep saying that Ghana and I say no Biamamu. But then maybe a baby was what not issues crown affect your mind or self-inflicted. Young Kasa say, and they are of mind and sick as some idea because of external pressures and then maybe a CCD and Queen. Young and a montua a byway 8. Obibeka says so, but we have done something that they didn't see that. Time self-inflicted doom so by. aban bi pɛ so yɛate petrol so paa ɛwɔ world market yɛso ne yɛtum wɔ Ghana. Nothing was done to cushion the ordinary Ghanaian. Asempa FM meeting mu paa. In the days of Bonsu, ebi amoka. Ne yɛkɔtɔ Yusuf fuel say radio stations no more ration fuel. Ɔmo programs kɔ more ration. Ne nyinaa affected businesses. Eti yɛka sɛ no ne yɛka in isolation a. We are not being fair to the discussion. And then our president, was trying to, the interviewer, last interview, he was trying to let him know that Ghana for Robinson Crusoes. We don't live in isolation. We live in a global economy. So whatever happens everywhere affects Ghanaians as well. Yeah, discussing stuff na immune. Me jidi say ne, jume die ye because no vice president beto ne bo at church baby na Ghana yesika samwo. In 2017, I brought back before buying. Baby, I did do ye, and son and near my sister, near Kokosu, and then you are buying also here to deal with the situation. I don't see, we did this over 50 cases to the question. And it's Ghana for
Asempa FM.
Yet here we are. What we expect as NPP, and is the NDC does not have the people and the men to face the Vice President Bawumia. And as usual, the Agoro boys will be out there.
But that's not fair. That's not fair.
Tantrums and they are them the day and no
Jerry, I don't think it's fair to describe me as a
but the American is there. We want people of the caliber of Dr. Bawumia, people with economic prowess, people who are the pedigree, to come and respond to the issues that the man will raise, and not people who just deal with the tangentials and issues that will not address Nyema or the other two tables. So that is what I mean by the Globals. That I withdraw.
No problem. Enche will go to the hall. Matese Enche, the Vice President, will be speaking, and he will be picking that address live. Said here, Munina Munim. But before that, many Jerry Osei Poku and Edin Komono, the regional youth organizer for the NPP in the Eastern region. But Jerry, Ebia Kasa, yes. I mean, you can blame external factors. But the government also should accept part of the blame, no?
Absolutely. I don't see in the Nyema after the 3 days discussions, of course, with pediatrics. Finance Minister Ebayen, about the catcher Ghana for say, in spite of the years, even oil marketing companies near there, attitudes of money to account. A buying so members of the government are sacrificing a percentage of their salaries. Even some of the largest fuel near there, they might buy penny and the government itself, even before the announcement, has reduced its budget by 20%. And don't think now you have looked at the environment and you have realized it. Never be a hormone you can train so kakra. You bet me abwa amayaso so ma any sika some who it's me
Asempa FM.
And that is what I expect every Ghanaian to support, and not to buy into the propaganda and for omunim de. And so some person on the candy.
Jerry, my man say I think we have to go. Babaka will talk again. Jerry Osei Poku and Yatin and Kano, the Central Regional Youth Organizer, right? Inti Obachemi, Domi, are we ready? Are we ready to pick it? In my young said, join a feed, live from the hall. Dr. Bawumia is about to talk. In the Central Regional Youth Organizer, Good. Money host region for this orientation program. In 1 minute, Nioma Kosei.
Nyankopon aduma program a yɛhyehyɛ fitinde da besinde ade biara yɛde to akwam da yɛreyɛ na aboa ma tescon etum na akɔnanyim yɛtum ayɛ as you can see actually the numbers that we were expecting from the constituency, from the various tertiary institutions now yɛnya the numbers na Nyankopon aduma BBR record. We believe that after this
doc start
very well.
That's the regional youth organizer for the NPP in the Central region. We'll join the feed. Dr. Bawumia is speaking. You'll get the feed and to listen to the speech live from the Pentecost Convention Center.
Of the New Patriotic Party, Sir John Boydu, Ministers of State, the Majority Chief Whip, Deputy Majority Chief Whip, Members of Parliament, our national executives, MMDCs,
Asempa
our Central
FM.
Regional Chairman, our host chairman, Chairman Kutin, Regional Chairman, Regional and Constituency Executives, CEOs and Deputy CEOs, the TESCOM President and Executives, TESCOM members, friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, commitment, commitment, commitment. Good evening. It is my pleasure and privilege to once again have the opportunity to address you at this important national conference. I would like to thank the organizers, Dankwa Institute and the National Youth Wing, for the invitation to speak at this conference today. Today, I want to address the state of the economy. The issues about national economies and how well individual countries are handling their respective economic situations appear to be the most important thing on people's minds in recent times. From the man on the street to the business mogul, the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the shelter we seek or have, the benevolence we extend to friends
Asempa
and
FM.
family, the health of the economy is the foundational instrument. To bring this home, essentially, the economy is what we feel in our pockets. I acknowledge that we are going through challenging times. This is the reality, irrespective of the cause. Not long ago, we had felt similar despair, the fear of losing our lives to a pandemic, and the near halt to our economy as we battle to survive each day. Some years ago, we had been confronted by very dire circumstances. The joblessness of our youth, the years of doomsday that adversely impacted on businesses and jobs, the disappointment of dealing with a collapsed national health insurance system, and the inability to access health care, the bane of the cash and carry system, a nearly collapsed national ambulance system, the freeze on public sector employment, and an almost collapsed banking sector, and so on. The economy was on the verge of collapse, and a legacy of take-or-pay contracts saddled the economy with annual excess capacity charges of close to $1 billion a year. These were basically contracts to supply energy to Ghana way in excess of our requirements, but we were obligated to pay for the
Asempa
power
FM.
whether we use it or not. We were confronted with a banking crisis, and not dealing decisively with it would have meant disaster for the economy, as the entire banking system would have collapsed. In addition to not keeping up with the excess capacity payments for energy would have meant throwing the country back into the new bout of doomsday. The government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo put in a lot of effort to turn things around, from from the situation that used to be when we came into office in 2017. We had only one mission: stop the decline and make things better. Together, as a country, we proceeded to fix the economy. We made great gains, and the records attest to this. Prior to the coronavirus pandemic, which has impacted virtually all economies in the world, we stabilized the economy. We reduced inflation. We doubled economic growth in the first 3 years. We reduced the rate of depreciation of the cedi. The average depreciation from 2017 to 2020 was the lowest since 1992. We reduced the fiscal deficit. We improved the external payments position, reduced interest rates in line with declining inflation expectations, and we cleaned up the mess in the financial sector that we inherited. We took the decisive action
Asempa
to
FM.
avoid the collapse of the financial sector and to save the deposits of 4.6 million people. Thousands of businesses would have collapsed if we had not saved the banking sector. We implemented our flagship programs such as free SHS, Planting for Food and Jobs, One District, One Factory, NAPCO, IPEP, the Zongo Development Fund, restoration of teacher and nursing training allowances, and we embarked on the digitalization of the economy. The relatively strong performance of the economy, among other things, led to Ghana being the destination of choice for foreign direct investment in West Africa, according to the 2019 World Investment Report by UNCTAD. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic changed the economic circumstances of virtually every country in the world. Today, our economy is witnessing rising prices of fuel and virtually all commodities like bread, rice, sugar, sachet water, cement, iron rods, and so on. From Malata Market through Abofor Market to Techiman Market to Takoradi Market Circle to Pando and almost everywhere across the country, prices are on the rise. In the first quarter of this year, we have also suffered a sovereign credit ratings downgrade by 2 ratings agencies. And along with that, there has been a significant depreciation of the cedi between February and March this year. These developments, ladies and gentlemen, have come as
Asempa
a surprise to many Ghanaians. And in the ensuing discussions, many questions have been asked about the state of the economy. These questions include: what has happened to the fundamentals? Why are the prices of goods and services increasing so fast? Why has the cedi depreciated so fast this year? Why has the fiscal deficit and the debt stock increased so much? What projects and programs does government have to show for the higher debt? Are the government flagship programs like free SHS the cause of our current economic challenges? How about the promise to move the economy from a focus on taxation to a focus on production? Where is the new economy that government promised to build? How has the government tackled corruption? What has the government done to relieve suffering of Ghanaians? And how is the government solving the current economic challenges? Today, I will address these questions based I will address these questions based on data and facts. I will admit where there are challenges, but hopefully we will all leave here with a
Asempa
better
FM.
understanding of the state of the economy, where we have come from, where we are, and where we are going. So, let's take the first question. What has happened to the fundamentals? Let's examine the economic fundamentals. Are weak fundamentals the reason for our current economic challenges? What is the data saying about variables like inflation, interest rates, external sector performance, the fiscal balance, the debt stock, GDP growth, and the exchange rate? Our assessment of the fundamentals will be based on the evolution of these variables over time. Mr. Chairman, countries and economies, I'm looking at inflation now. Countries and economies throughout the world are experiencing severe challenges following the COVID-19 pandemic and the more recent Russia-Ukraine war. The pandemic, which started early in 2020, resulted in the greatest economic depression since the 1930s, with most countries recording negative growth. Supply chain disruptions and the rising price of oil has resulted in the prices of fuel going up across the globe, with petrol prices doubling in most countries. In fact, in the world today, the highest petroleum prices can be found in countries like Hong Kong, the Netherlands, Zimbabwe,
Asempa FM.
Germany, Israel, and the United Kingdom. Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, the global average cost of shipping a container has increased from $1,446 in 2019. The global average cost for shipping a container has gone up from $1,446 in December 2019 to $9,789 as at February 2022. This is an increase of 576% to ship a container globally. This has dramatically increased the cost of shipping goods and therefore their prices on the market. Food prices have also not been left out. The Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO Global Food Index, Price Index, increased from 95.1 at the end of 2019 to 140 in February 2022, an increase of 48%. The increase in commodity prices has been exacerbated by the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russia and Ukraine together account for 30% of the global wheat exports. The longer the conflict ensues, the greater will be the disruption to global food supplies. The conflict is also likely to slow global growth. According to the African Development Bank, the price of wheat has shot up by 62% since the war began, and the price of
Asempa
fertilizer
FM.
is up by 300%, and the price of maize is up by 36% since the war began. Here in Ghana, 60% of our total imports of iron ore and steel are from Ukraine. Russia accounts for some 30% of Ghana's imported grains, 50% of flour, and 39% of fertilizer. So, We are directly affected by the Russia-Ukraine war. Unfortunately, we do not know when it will be over. The global increase in fuel prices is causing hardships in even the most advanced economies like the United States of America. I want you to watch a video on the screen for just a minute showing the exasperation of a consumer in the United States to the increase in fuel prices over there. And this is a consumer complaining about fuel price increases. Global Global inflation is on the rise, as I said, in many advanced economies, like the UK and the USA, who are experiencing their highest inflation in 30
Asempa
and 40
FM.
years, respectively. Africa's largest oil producer, Nigeria, is experiencing fuel shortages, as you can see the queues for fuel on the screen. They are experiencing high food prices as well as power outages. Food prices are rising sharply in Algeria, and there are shortages there. There are food protests in Spain over high fuel prices, food and electricity bills. In the UK, consumers are complaining about energy bills, higher taxes, the water bill, higher national insurance, higher broadband charges, and so on. In fact, the entire Eurozone is also feeling the pinch of rising prices. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, the data shows that in the UK and the US, for example, inflation is accelerating at 3 to 4 times its rate in 2019, before COVID. In Cote d'Ivoire, inflation is accelerating at 5 times its rate before COVID-19. In Nigeria and Ghana, inflation is accelerating between 1.3 and 2 times the rate before COVID. The path of inflation in Ghana has been similar to those of other countries following the COVID pandemic. Inflation had declined from an average of 17.5% in 2016 to an average of 7.2% by 2020. Since the pandemic, however,
Asempa
inflation has
FM.
increased from an average of 7.2% to an average of 10% in 2021. As at February 2022, inflation rose further to 15.7% as a result of global conditions, including a rise in crude oil and other commodity prices and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, to note that between 2013 and 2016, inflation averaged 15.9%. Between 2017 and 2021, however, inflation averaged 10.4%, notwithstanding the impact of COVID. Look at interest rates. Before COVID-19, the steady disinflation process provided for significant monetary policy easing. The Bank of Ghana's monetary policy rate was cut by a cumulative 11% between January 2017 and January 2021. This translated into a reduction in short-term interest rates with the interest rate on the 91-day Treasury bill declining from 21.2% between 2013 and 2016 to an average of 13.8% between 2017 and 2021. Lending rates have also fallen. Lending rates have also fallen from an average of 28% between 2013 and 2016 to an average
Asempa
of 23%
FM.
between 2017 and 2021. So notwithstanding COVID-19, interest rates are still lower now than they were in the 2013 to 2016 period. In response to the recent increase in inflation, the Bank of Ghana has increased the monetary policy rate by 2.5% from 14.5% to 17%. So what is happening in the fundamentals, in the external sector fundamentals? So we look at external sector performance. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's external payments position strengthened in the 2017 to 2021 period relative to the 2013 to 2016 years. For the first time in over 30 years, the trade balance, that is the difference between your exports and your imports, the trade balance recorded a surplus for 5 successive years, for the first time in over 30 years. We recorded surplus for 5 successive years. The trade balance was in deficit between 2013 and 2016, but moved from a deficit of 1.7 billion in 2016 to a surplus of 1.1 billion in 2017, a larger surplus of 1.8 billion in 2018, and an even larger surplus of 2.2 billion by 2019. The impact of COVID-19 has seen a reduction in the surplus to 2.04 billion in 2020 and a further reduction
Asempa
to
FM.
1.1 billion in 2021. Nevertheless, this is still a much stronger performance than the trade deficit of 1.7 billion recorded in 2016, which, ladies and gentlemen, the positive trade balances resulted in a narrowing of the current account deficit as a percentage of GDP between 2017 and 2019, but a subsequent widening of the deficit in 2020 and 2021 as a result of COVID-19. Even that, notwithstanding COVID-19, our current account position between 2017 and 2021 is much stronger than that between 2013 and 2016. Improvements in the current account performance and increased capital inflows have helped to boost Ghana's international reserves. The data shows that gross international reserves increased from 6.1 billion in 2016 to 8.4 billion 4 months of import cover by 2019, and subsequently to 9.6 billion 4.4 months of import cover at the end of 2021. By February 2022, the gross international reserves had decreased marginally to 9.5 billion for 4.3 months of import cover. So in terms of gross international reserves, our economic situation is still much stronger than what it was in the 2013 to 2016 period.
Asempa FM.
Now we come to the fiscal balance and the debt. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the developments in the fiscal balance show a remarkable and sharp dichotomy between the fiscal deficit, that is the difference between government revenue and government expenditure, before COVID and after COVID. The fiscal deficit between 2013 and 2016 averaged about 7% of GDP. Between 2017 and 2019, that is before COVID, the fiscal deficit declined to an average of 4.5%. For the first time in a decade, we recorded primary balance surpluses for 3 years in a row. And to sustain the path of fiscal discipline, Parliament passed into law a Fiscal Responsibility Act that limits the fiscal deficit in any year to a maximum of 5% of GDP and requires a positive primary balance. Then out of the blue, we were doing so well, we had brought the fiscal deficit down from an average of 7.2% in 2013 to 2016 to 4.5% by 2019. Then out of the blue, in 2020, COVID hit. It hit the world with devastating economic and health consequences. His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the government had to take some quick and difficult decisions.
Asempa FM.
The approach of the government was summed up in the President's famous statement that, and I quote, "We know how to bring back the economy, but we don't know how to bring back lives." So, the government made a deliberate and conscious decision to protect the lives and livelihoods of Ghanaians and to mitigate the suffering of households. Government therefore had no option than to suspend the fiscal responsibility law to allow for the higher expenditure. Economic growth in 2020 declined to 0.4%, and with it, there was also a decline in revenue mobilization of about 12 billion Ghana cedis relative to target. At the same time that the revenues were declining, we had to spend more money to engage more health personnel. We hired 58,000 health personnel in this period, to provide tax relief packages, to provide free electricity, free water, and to support businesses to acquire PPEs and vaccines and so on. The combined impact of these factors, as well as other expenditures, resulted in an increase in the fiscal deficit from 4.8% of GDP in 2019 to 15% of GDP in 2020, and a subsequent decline to 11.4% of GDP in 2021. The primary balance also went from a surplus of 0.9% of GDP to a deficit of 5.3% of GDP in 2020, before narrowing to 2% of GDP primary deficit in 2021. I should note that Ghana has been acknowledged globally for doing an excellent job in managing the COVID-19 pandemic. And we have the strong leadership of His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to thank for that. Deaths from COVID so far have totaled 1,445, and the total case count as at yesterday, the total cases in Ghana was at 42 cases. So we have managed the COVID very well, and the expenditure was necessary for us to do so and to save lives. Some commentators and analysts have argued that the COVID expenditures could not be the only reason for the large fiscal deficit that was recorded in 2020 and 2021. In fact, I agree with this view because the data supports it, and I'll show you why. Comparing the fiscal deficit in 2020 and 2021 between Ghana and other sub-Saharan African countries, the data shows that COVID expenditures alone were not sufficient
Asempa
to explain
FM.
the increase in our fiscal deficits. The fiscal deficit to GDP in Ghana increased by threefold compared to 1.23 for Nigeria, 1.02 for Egypt, and 2.43 for Cote d'Ivoire. In addition to COVID-19, there were two major items of expenditure. In addition to COVID-19, there were two major items of expenditure that are critical to understanding the evolution of the fiscal deficit and the debt stock: the banking sector cleanup and the energy sector excess capacity payments. The data shows that the three items, when you look at COVID expenditure, the banking sector cleanup, and the excess capacity payments, amounted to 50.1 billion Ghana cedis. That is the equivalent of some $7 billion for just these three items. And the Ministry of Finance estimates that the interest payment on the borrowing, because this was borrowed, this was financed from borrowing, for our excess capacity payments, banking sector cleanup, and the COVID expenditures were financed from borrowing. And the Ministry of Finance estimates that the interest payments on this borrowing for these three items alone amounted to 8.5 billion Ghana cedis annually. 8.5 billion Ghana cedis. And this is about 23% of Ghana's annual interest payments of about 37 billion Ghana cedis.
Asempa FM.
So to put this expenditure of 50.1 billion and interest costs of 8.5 billion in perspective, it is important to juxtapose this expenditure against the total expenditure or releases on some of our key flagship projects, including free SHS, One District, One Factory, Planting for Food and Jobs, the development authorities, the Ghana Card, Zongo Development Fund, NAPCO, teacher training allowances, and nursing training allowances. The data shows that over the last 5 years, our expenditure on all of these flagship projects was 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. Over 5 years. And this is compared to our expenditure on those three exceptional items I've just mentioned of 50.1 billion Ghana cedis. The expenditure, in fact, on these three items amounted to more than 3 times the expenditure on the flagship programs in table that you are seeing. In fact, the annual interest cost of the borrowing for the exceptional items would pay for double the annual cost of all these flagship programs. Of the 3 exceptional items, apart from renegotiating the terms of the IPP agreements, it is important that the receiver for the financial institutions retrieve the assets of the institutions to defray a significant portion of the 25 billion.
Asempa FM.
Now let me get to the debt stock. According to the World Bank, The attempt by governments across the world to protect livelihoods and to stimulate their economies has meant higher fiscal deficits and debt levels globally. Sizable discretionary support, along with a sharp contraction in output and an ensuing fall in revenues, has led to a surge in government debts and deficits globally. In 2020, the global government debt increased by 13 percentage points of GDP to a new world record of 97% of GDP. That was a new world record. In advanced economies, the debt to GDP was up by 16 percentage points to 120% of debt to GDP. And in emerging market economies, it was up by 9 percentage points to 63% of GDP. In fact, the data shows that the debt to GDP ratio after COVID increased in the US, the UK, Cote d'Ivoire by 12, 18, and 12.3 percentage points of GDP, respectively. The table shows that Ghana's total debt stock has increased from 122 billion in 2016 to 351 billion in 2022, an increase of 229.6 billion. At the end of 2021, external debt amounted to 170 billion, 38.7% of GDP, and domestic debt totaled 181 billion, 41.4% of GDP. Between 2019
Asempa
and
FM.
2021, Ghana's debt to GDP increased by 17.6 percentage points of GDP. It should be noted, and it is important, that without the 50.1 billion for the exceptional items of the financial sector, the energy, and COVID, Ghana's debt to GDP would have been about 68% instead of the current 80% that it is. Because of COVID-19, the GDP growth was virtually zero in 2020, and this is bound to increase the debt to GDP ratio, other things equal, with a lower base. Now to the question of what projects and programs government has to show for the higher debt. Some loan agreements underpinning external debt stock are shown in the table that you are looking at. And we have, and I present this document that I'll make available, all the external debt loans that we have contracted. And you will see that the projects that we have undertaken over these last 5 years, from the loans that we have borrowed, you'll see that we borrowed money to build the University of Environment, Science, and Sustainable Development in Somanya, right? We borrowed the money, contracted the loan. That is part of our debt stock. The Pokwasi interchange is part of our debt stock. The Tema Mpakadan Railway is part of our debt stock. The debt borrowing for Kumasi Airport Phase 2 is part
Asempa
of our debt
FM.
stock. Tamale Airport is part of our debt stock. Obekibi Lamte Interchange is there. We borrowed money for polytechnics and technical and vocational training centers, construction of bridges, the Secondary Cities Program, the modernization and equipment of Tetekwashi Memorial, Kibi, Aburi, Etibie hospitals, expansion of the University of Ghana Hospital Phase 2, 50 bridges, the portable water system in Yendi. We also have borrowed money for the expansion and rehabilitation, and expansion of the Bolgatanga Regional Hospital, modernization of Kompoanochi Teaching Hospital, the construction and commissioning of a portable water infrastructure project in Tamale, Pong Generating and Retrofit, Eastern Corridor. So many projects that we have, and I'll leave them for everybody to go through so many projects across. So we can account for our use of the resources that we have borrowed. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think I've not seen any government that is now has presented this data to the public to see where your loans have gone. I don't know any government that has done that. I don't know any government that has done that. Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about moving the economy from a focus on taxation to a focus on production. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of measures to get the economy back on track when we had these challenges and to improve domestic revenue mobilization and improve
Asempa
efficiency,
FM.
government has increased a number of taxes. We extended the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy and the special import levies from 2020 to 2024. We imposed initially a luxury vehicle levy, which was later abolished. We increased the CST from 6% to 9% and later decreased it from 9% to 5%. We increased the National Health Insurance levy from 2.5% to 3.5%. We introduced a sanitation pollution levy of 10 pesos on the price of a liter of fuel. We had the energy sector recovery levy of 20 pesos, a financial sector cleanup levy of 5%, and recently the introduction of the e-levy of 1.5% on financial transactions. However, it is important to point out that notwithstanding the revenue challenges that we inherited when we came into office, we took the decision to reduce taxes in the economy. We were aware that our decision to reduce taxes could worsen our revenue challenges in the short term, but we were of the firm conviction that this would spur growth and increase tax revenues in the medium to long term. In fulfillment of our manifesto promise to move the economy from a focus on taxation to a focus on production, we have so far reduced or abolished 18 separate taxes and levies, and most of them were manifesto promises. No such broad-based reduction in taxes has been implemented
Asempa
by any
FM.
government since independence. No such since independence. We abolished the 5% VAT on real estate sales, abolished the 17.5% VAT on selected imported medicines, abolished the 17.5% VAT on financial services, abolished the import duty on the importation of spare parts, abolished the 1% special import levy, abolished the 17.5% VAT on domestic airline tickets, abolished levies imposed on Kaya-Ye. We abolished the excise duty on petroleum. We provided full corporate tax deduction for private universities who plow back 100% of profits into the university. We reduced the national electrification levy from 5% to 3%, reduced public lighting levy, reduced the special petroleum tax from 17.5% to 13%. We replaced the 17.5 VAT with a flat rate of 3% for traders. We granted a capital tax exemption on stocks traded on the Ghana Stock Exchange, abolished the income tax on mutual funds and unit trust schemes, abolished the income tax on real estate investment trust, and we recently reduced the withholding tax for gold exporters from 3% to 1%. So we reduced or abolished 18 separate taxes. And despite these tax reductions, the data shows that revenue collection in nominal cedi terms has increased by 25% annually since 2017. Beyond these measures, government focused on production in the real sector. We said from taxation
Asempa
to
FM.
production. Virtually every government, ladies and gentlemen, in our history has noted the need for Ghana to change the structure of the economy through diversification and by shifting from the focus on the production of raw materials to value addition. This is a key pillar of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. To accomplish this, government has implemented the following programs: planting for food and jobs to increase agricultural output for agro-processing and food sufficiency. The results of planting for food and jobs have been quite remarkable, with a significant increase in food production. The Tono Dam and the left and right banks of the Pond Dam have been rehabilitated to provide 13,190 hectares of additional irrigable land for rice and vegetable production. 80 warehouses have been constructed with a combined storage capacity of 80,000 metric tons to provide storage and reduce post-harvest losses. Reforms in the cocoa sector, including hand pollination, have resulted in the highest ever production, that is 1,047,000 tons, the highest ever recorded in the history of Ghana during the 2020 and 2021 cocoa season. The one district, one factory policy has taken off with significant impact on the manufacturing sector. 106 factories have been completed and are operational, and 148 factories are under construction. And this represents, ladies and gentlemen, this represents the largest number of factories
Asempa FM.
established under a government in Ghana since independence. The facilitation of the growth of an automotive industry is on course. Volkswagen, Suzuki, Sinotruk, Peugeot, and Toyota, and recently Nissan, have all established assembly plants in Ghana. Kia, Hyundai, and Renault are also on course to start production in Ghana this year. Kantanka Automobile is also benefiting from the same incentives that have granted all of these foreign investors. Ladies and gentlemen, we have started the process of building the integrated bauxite and aluminum industry. The partner for the project, Rockshore International, a wholly Ghanaian-owned company, has been selected as the partner and has already started work to develop the Nyinahin Mpasaso Hills. The minerals resource estimate to confirm the quantity and quality of the bauxite is being undertaken this year, after which the refinery design will follow for the establishment of an aluminum refinery in Ghana. Ghana has waited since independence, and with visionary leadership, sound planning, and by the grace of God, it is finally happening. We are building an integrated bauxite and aluminum industry. Also, government through Exim Bank has committed $60
Asempa
million
FM.
to supporting local pharmaceutical companies. So far, 75% of the approved amount has been released to the local pharmaceutical companies. Ladies and gentlemen, changing the structure of our economy through diversification and the value addition will not happen overnight. However, it remains a major preoccupation of the government because it is our pathway to reduce import dependency, expand the economy, create jobs, and increase exports and support the value of the currency. So, how has this shift in focus to production manifested in GDP growth? So let's look at the fundamentals of GDP growth. Ladies and gentlemen, after a period of sluggish and declining growth, real GDP growth picked up from 3.4% in 2016 to an average of 6.9% between 2017 and 2019. The onset of COVID-19 in 2020, however, resulted in a sharp reduction in GDP growth to 0.4%. In fact, many countries in the world recorded negative growth in 2020. Ghana was one of the few countries that had a positive growth, even though it was very small. The resilience of the economy manifested in 2021 with a pickup of real GDP growth from 0.4% in 2020 to a projected 5.3% in 2021, with the non-oil sector
Asempa FM
at 6.9% in 2021. In fact, the average rate of growth of GDP for 2017 to 2021, this is the period including COVID, when we had 0.4% growth in 2020. The average rate between 2017 and 2021 is 5.3%. But this compares to an average rate of growth between 2013 and 2016, when you had no COVID, when you had no Ukraine war, of 3%. Therefore, even with COVID, the growth of the economy is fundamentally stronger than it was in the 2013 to 2016 period. In per capita terms, GDP per capita, that is total income per population, has continued to increase from 7,757 Ghana cedis in 2016 to 12,389 Ghana cedis in 2020, notwithstanding COVID. This represents an increase in GDP per capita by some 60% since 2016. In US dollar terms, GDP per capita increased from $1,978 in 2016 to $2,213 in 2020. This was a year where we had almost zero growth, but we still, in per capita terms, we've done better than we inherited in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the sectoral growth, what is happening
Asempa
in
FM
industry and services, the data tells us that the agricultural sector has seen a major increase in output since 2016, increasing from an average growth of 2.85% between 2013 and 2016 to an average growth of 5.8% between 2017 and 2020. In fact, 2017 to 2020, our average growth in the agricultural sector is double what it was in 2013 to 2016. And this is as a result of the success of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. And the data for the first 3 quarters of 2021, in fact, shows an even higher growth. The first 3 quarters shows a massive growth of 10.1% in the agricultural sector. Now, when we look at the industry sector, it also saw a significant growth prior to COVID. Between 2013 and 2016, industry recorded an average growth of 3.3% between 2013 and 2016, 3.3% average growth. Between 2017 and 2019, before COVID, industrial growth increased to an average of 10.8%, from 3.3%. This was before COVID. With the onset of COVID-19, as you can expect, industry growth declined to minus 3.6% in 2020 and minus 1.7% in 2021. Between 2017 and 2020, industry
Asempa
growth
FM.
grew by 7.2%. That is including the COVID years. Between 2017 and 2020, 7.2%. And this is more than double the growth in 2013 to 2016 when they did not have COVID at all. Growth in the service sector between 2013 and 2016 averaged 5.2%. Prior to COVID, the service sector increased at an average of 7.3%. Growth, however, declined to 1.5% in 2020 to bring the average growth for the 2017-2020 period to 5.85%. There has, however, been a very significant pickup in growth in the service sector for the first 3 quarters of 2021 by 9.5%. So in summary, notwithstanding COVID-19, the agricultural sector is growing at double the rate of the 2013 to 2016 period. The industry sector is growing at double the rate of the 2013 to 2016 period, and the service sector has recorded a higher average growth rate than in the 2013 to 2016 period. The growth fundamentals of our economy are strong and resilient. In the context of sub-Saharan Africa, GDP growth in Ghana has consistently outpaced the growth in sub-Saharan Africa since 2017. Even in 2020, when as a result of COVID-19, sub-Saharan Africa recorded negative growth on
Asempa
average,
FM.
Ghana was one of the few countries with positive growth. Between 2017 and 2021, growth in Ghana has averaged 5.3%, while that of sub-Saharan Africa averaged 2.3% for the same period. So GDP growth in Ghana was therefore more than double the sub-Saharan African average for this period. The evidence and the data is therefore clear that we have made good progress in shifting from a focus on taxation to a focus on production. We are also seeing in the area of unemployment declines in unemployment. Ladies and gentlemen, the holistic approach to national development adopted by our government, anchored on shared economic growth, bolstered by light manufacturing industry and investments in human capital, has invariably created opportunities and pathways for the upliftment of the citizens through employment. The data shows, as you can see in the figure on your screen, the robust growth in GDP has led to a decline in total unemployment. Based on World Bank data, the average unemployment rate in Ghana between 2014 and 2016 stood at 6.29%, but has declined to an average of 4.37% between 2017 and 2020. Youth unemployment has also registered a decline from an average of 12.9% between 2014 and 2016 to an average of 9% between 2017
Asempa
and
FM.
2020. Ladies and gentlemen, government is also rolling out the Youth Start initiative for the youth. It is a major initiative which will provide the youth entrepreneurs with training, advisory services, and funding to enable them scale and grow their businesses. I now come to exchange rate development. And what do the fundamentals say? So, How has the city performed under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the last 5 years? And what is the cause of the recent sharp depreciation of the exchange rate of the city? The data shows quite clearly, when you look at this graph, shows a clear dichotomy for the depreciation of the city between 2013 and 2016 and between 2017 and 2021. City depreciation reached a high of 32.5% in 2014 and declined to 9.7% by 2016. The rate of depreciation further declined to 4.7% in 2017 before increasing to 12.9% that the average exchange rate depreciation during the 2017-2021 period, the average exchange rate depreciation over these 5 years
Asempa
under our
FM.
government is more than twice as stable as during the 2013 to 2016 period, when the average depreciation was 18%. So you are comparing our average depreciation over 5 years of 6.8% to theirs of 18%. It's night and day. And you will see, in fact, when you look at the history of the Fourth Republic, the worst performances of the exchange rate so far since 1992, the worst exchange rate depreciation has happened in two eras, between 1993 and 2000, and between 2009 and 2016. Those are the worst performances in the exchange rate. I wonder who was in charge of the economy at that time. Ladies and gentlemen, so we had so much stability in the exchange rate. But in the first quarter of this year, 2022, we have seen the sharpest first quarter depreciation of the cedi since 2015. Data from the Bank of Ghana shows that at the end of March, the cedi had depreciated by 15.5%. So what explains this? That you had such, low depreciation, and all of a sudden, within a few months, you had such high level of depreciation. Why did we see this? A number of factors can be adduced to explain what
Asempa FM.
The financial markets assessment of the 2022 budget, unfortunately, generally concluded that our projected 40% increase in revenue, which underpinned the 2022 budget, the financial markets assessed that this was not likely to materialize, and therefore our deficit would increase. This was not helped by the chaotic battle in Parliament over the budget and the passage of the budget. And this created uncertainty and signaled to the markets that the government may not be able to get most of its programs passed in a tightly balanced Parliament. This further reinforced the lack of confidence by investors in the budget. Furthermore, delays in implementing major tax reforms, such as the benchmark policy reversal, the tax exemptions bill, the common platform for property tax, and the review of fees and charges, appeared to support the assessment of the market that the government will have difficulty in getting its programs through Parliament. To add to this negative market sentiment, there was a sovereign credit ratings downgrade by Fitch and Moody's, two global sovereign credit ratings agencies as a result of concerns about fiscal and debt sustainability. If you are unable to pass your budget and the revenue measures in it, then your fiscal and your debt situations will not get better. And this was their assessment. This resulted in an unwillingness, this downgrade resulted in an unwillingness of foreign investors to roll over their holdings
Asempa
of our
FM.
domestic debt, and they demanded foreign exchange to repatriate their investments. The lack of access to the sovereign bond market by emerging markets globally, and Ghana's announcement that it would not issue a sovereign bond in 2022 also worried investors about the adequacy of our foreign exchange reserves going forward. They therefore wanted to get a hold of the foreign exchange now, and this led to an increase in the demand for US dollars. The increases also in interest rates by central banks in the US and other advanced economies also made the cedi assets less attractive and led to a move out of cedi holdings. Then in February, we had the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which started in February, at the same time that we've started seeing this significant depreciation. And the associated increase in crude oil prices and overall cost of living globally resulted in a higher demand for US dollars by foreign investors, oil importers, as well as other importers on the local foreign exchange market. There was also speculative demand for US dollars as panic set in. The combination of these factors resulted in a sharp depreciation of the cedi in the first quarter. This depreciation of the cedi was fundamentally about the market's assessment of the fiscal stance of government and its implications for fiscal and debt sustainability. This was the primary factor underpinning the ratings outgrade. So we had to address the depreciation of the cedi. It therefore called for an appropriate fiscal
Asempa
adjustment
FM.
to address the fiscal rigidities and ensure that the fiscal targets for the 2022 budget and beyond were met. Basically, we needed to cut expenditure and increase revenues of the magnitudes that will allow us to be on the path of fiscal and debt sustainability. Our assessment is that what we are facing is not a financing problem. And so we are not just going to go and borrow to solve the problem, unless that borrowing provides fiscal space to undertake critical reforms on the expenditure and revenue sides of the budget, as well as increasing economic growth. Government has taken the decision and announced revenue and expenditure measures in this regard. This include, on the expenditure side, the discretionary spending cut by an additional 10%, ongoing measures to eliminate ghost workers from the payroll, renegotiation of energy sector IPPs, prioritization of public sector, ongoing public sector projects over new ones, pursuing reprofiling strategies to reduce the interest expense burden on the fiscal, 50% cut in fuel coupons allocations to government appointees and political heads and political appointees, a moratorium on the purchase of imported vehicles for the rest of the year. On the revenue side, we have an implementation and collection of the revised property rate, implementation of the EVAT, rollout of the simplified tax filing mobile application, prioritized revenue assurance, compliance, enforcement packages, and no duty, no exit from the MPS terminal.
Asempa FM.
These are all very significant measures and critical steps in the right direction. In response to the increasing inflation and exchange rate depreciation, the Bank of Ghana has tightened monetary policy by increasing its policy rate by 2.5% from 14.5% to 17%, and increased reserve requirements of banks from 10% to 12%. The capital adequacy ratio has been increased from 10% to 13%. Also, a new foreign exchange auction for oil importers has been implemented by the Bank of Ghana, and this will help reduce volatility on the foreign exchange market. The announcement of these fiscal and monetary policy measures, along with the passage of the revenue measures in the budget by Parliament, has increased the confidence of investors about Ghana's fiscal outlook and appears to have restored calm on the foreign exchange market. Given the uncertainty surrounding geopolitical developments and their impact on the economy, we will continue to monitor the data and are ready to take further measures as may be required to meet our budget targets. The relaxation of the COVID-19 restrictions and the opening of our land borders is expected to result in increased economic activity and economic growth. In summary, the data clearly shows that overall, COVID notwithstanding, the economic fundamentals of inflation, interest rates, exchange rates, GDP growth, the trade balance, current account balance,
Asempa FM.
reserves during the 2017 to 2021 period are largely much stronger than they were in the 2013 to 2016 period. The fiscal deficit to GDP and the debt to GDP variables are weaker, given the COVID-related expenditures, banking sector cleanup costs, and excess capacity payments to IPPs. We should note that no government in the history of Ghana, no government has had to deal with a global pandemic, which resulted in the worst global depression since the 1930s, and a war between Russia and Ukraine and its implications, and a financial crisis pretty much in succession. No government has been able to deal with these: the financial sector crisis, COVID, the war in Ukraine, and the pandemic. Under these circumstances, given what we have had to deal with, when you look at the fundamentals, our management of the fundamentals has been quite remarkable. Then we talk about transforming the economy. The government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo set out to build a modern, prosperous economy. There are several elements of this economic transformation. Industrialization. This is why we are doing one district, one factory, the automotive industry, the bauxite and aluminum integrated industry. Agriculture is a major part of the transformation agenda. Planting for food and jobs, rearing for food and jobs,
Asempa FM.
authority, and so infrastructure, roads, railways, dams, warehouses, schools, hospitals, airports, water. Then you have the education anchor. We're growing our education, free SHS, free TVET, investment in TVET institutions. These are all building blocks to the transformation of the economy that is taking place in Ghana. However, ladies and gentlemen, we can only build a vibrant modern nation if we have strong systems and institutions that work. Otherwise, we will be stuck in a vicious cycle of rhetoric and underdevelopment. The focus of economic management by successive governments since independence in Ghana has been on crisis management. As a result of factors such as the collapse in commodity prices, increase in oil prices, debt unsustainability, political instability, macro instability, and so on, governments have by and large not focused on the underlying system that underpins economic activities. So upon assumption of office, our goal was to quickly transform our economy by leveraging on technological innovations as a means to leapfrog the development process, overcome legacy problems, and improve both economic and public sector governance. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, digitalization has been a major focus of our government. Our strategy
Asempa
since
FM.
2017, our strategy has been to build a new system through digital transformation. I'll now look at how we have done so. We are addressing the issue of a unique identity. From independence until we came into office, Ghana did not have a national ID system. And we quickly moved to issue the biometric national ID cards, the Ghana card. This Ghana card project was initiated by President Kufuor, but was practically abandoned for 8 years. So far, 15.9 million people have been enrolled on the Ghana card by the NIA. With the Ghana card, the identity of people, even dead people, can be established using their fingerprints. And I must say, this is one of the most transformational projects implemented by any government since independence. To solve the problem of a lack of a working address system in Ghana, we have leveraged GPS technology to implement a digital address system for Ghana, capturing every square inch of land in Ghana. In the process, the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority has identified and provided 7.5 million properties in Ghana with street names and house numbers. And the process of affixing address plates to these properties is ongoing. Then we set out to promote financial inclusion through mobile
Asempa
money
FM.
interoperability. Mobile money interoperability has made it possible to transfer money seamlessly across different mobile money networks and between bank accounts and mobile wallets. Today, because of the mobile money interoperability we have implemented, today you can transfer money from MTN to Vodafone or to Tigo, and also make payments from your mobile money account into a bank account. And you can receive payments from abroad, remittances, onto your mobile phone. Before you had to go to Western Union if somebody sent you money, or go to the bank to get that money. But because of mobile money interoperability, when they send you money from London, United States, or Canada, or Germany, it can come directly onto your mobile phone, and you can go ahead and spend it. Because mobile money, the mobile money account, because we've made it interoperable with the bank account, because the mobile money account performs just like a bank account, as a result of mobile money interoperability, over 90% of adult Ghanaians have bank accounts or mobile money accounts that function like bank accounts. So this problem of financial inclusion that has been with us with over 70% of our population not having bank accounts, we have practically solved the problem of financial inclusion in Ghana. I should note that Ghana is
Asempa
the
FM.
first country in Africa and one of the first in the world to achieve this type of interoperability between bank accounts and mobile wallets. Even in the United States of America, the Federal Reserve Bank does not have interoperability in its real-time payments network. On March 15th this year, just a few weeks ago, Rwanda attained mobile interoperability between their telcos, which allows clients of one telco to send money to clients of another telco. They have not yet been able to achieve the interoperability between the mobile money account and the bank account that we have in Ghana. I am proud to say that in this area, we are way ahead of most countries in the world. Achieving mobile money interoperability in Ghana is therefore no small feat, especially if you look at the cost. We spent only $4.5 million to achieve mobile money interoperability. Some people wanted to spend $1 billion for the same thing. The data, ladies and gentlemen, the data shows that because of mobile money interoperability, Ghana is the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa. And just listen to this data. Listen to this data. At the end
Asempa
of 2016, the total cumulative value of mobile money transactions at the end of 2016, the total cumulative value of mobile money transactions was 78.5 billion Ghana cedis in 2016. Following mobile money interoperability, the total cumulative value of mobile money transactions has increased from 78.5 billion to 978.3 billion. Can you think about it? Think about it for a moment. From 78.5 to 978.3 billion dollars. And they don't understand why the future is digitalization. They don't understand. Today, the payment reforms we have put in place has made it very easy in Ghana to open a traditional bank account. For many banks today, anyone can open a bank account remotely on your mobile phone. You don't have to visit a bank. You don't have to fill any form. All you need in Ghana today to open a bank on your mobile phone is your Ghana card. You go and print it, get a bank account. That's all. You just dial a USSD code for the bank, insert your Ghana card number, and pronto, your account is open and you can start business.
Asempa FM.
And the digital payments infrastructure is boosting e-commerce in Ghana. Businesses are booming over Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. Many people cannot afford to rent or build shops, but they are able to do business on the internet at little cost, with deliveries helped by the digital address and payments using mobile money interoperability. We have also used digitalization to address the efficient delivery of public services and corruption. Our approach to improving the delivery of public services is to minimize human contact as much as possible. Therefore, we embarked on an aggressive digitalization process of service delivery across many public institutions. Then we will look at the passport office. We digitized the passport office, and with digitalization, the average turnaround time for the acquisition of passports has been significantly reduced, and today you can apply for your passport from home, and it can be delivered to you at home with your digital address. The digitalization of the passport application process has resulted in a significant increase in the number of passport applications that are processed annually, and also a significant increase in the revenue for the passport office. In 2017, when we started the digitalization process at the passport office, the total number of passport applications in 2017
Asempa
was
FM.
16,232, and they had a revenue of 1.1 million Ghana cedis in 2017. In 2021, after digitization, the passport office online received 498,963 applications, from 16,000 to 498,000. And the revenue the passport office made has increased from 1.1 million Ghana cedis to 56.7 million Ghana cedis. And they still don't understand the link between digitization and the economy. We went to paperless ports. Previously, the bureaucracy in clearing goods at the ports involved a lot of paperwork and used to be largely manual. This caused delays, corruption, inefficiencies, frustration, and loss of revenue to the government. Many citizens who had cleared goods at the country's ports had horror stories about their experiences at the port. The introduction of the paperless port system has reduced the layers and simplified the process, reduced the time needed to clear goods and the avenues for corruption, and increased efficiencies and revenue mobilization at the ports. Since the introduction of the paperless ports, customs revenue has increased from 10 billion Ghana cedis in 2016 to 16 billion in 2021. Let's look at the DVLA. The DVLA offers
Asempa
two
FM.
professional services: driver's licenses and vehicle registration. These services have been fully digitalized. With digitalization of the driver's licenses in 2019, the DVLA experienced an increase in service by 109% after digitalization. As you know, the average cost at the DVLA is 500 cedis and 550 cedis for vehicle and driver's license and services. And this is compared before, it's 500 to 550. But if you were dealing in the market, the Goro Boys market, you will pay between 2,000 and 3,000. So digitalization has saved a lot of people who apply for licenses and driver's licenses and vehicle registration by up to 200% and 264% at the minimum. The DVLA generated an average revenue of 71.5 million in between 2013 and 2016, average of 71.5 million, compared to the average of 168.4 million in the 4 years since 2017 and 2020 with digitalization. Ladies and gentlemen, we look at motor insurance. The National Insurance Commission has implemented the digital motor insurance database. The objective of the introduction of the motor insurance database is to curb the menace of vehicles with fake motor insurance stickers plying our roads and therefore endangering lives and property. With digitalization of motor insurance in Ghana, all insurance policies which now have
Asempa
key
FM.
security features have been synchronized to a national database which can be accessed simply with any mobile phone by the insured, the police, and the general public. Members of the public, and you can try this when you go out and look at your vehicle, members of the public can also self-check the authenticity of their insurance policy by dialing the USSD code *920*57#. *920*57#. When you dial it and enter the number of the vehicle, it will tell you whether the vehicle is insured or not. It's that simple. Therefore, our police and the general public can easily check from their mobile phones whether they should actually join a particular vehicle or not. Following the implementation of the motor insurance database, the growth of motor insurance industry increased from 19% in 2019 to 37% in 2020 and 26% in 2021. The value of the business undertaking increased from 567 million in 2017 to 1.15 billion by 2021. And therefore, digitalization has dealt a severe blow to corruption in the motor insurance industry with no room for fake motor insurance certificates. When we go to the births and deaths registry, the process of digitalization of records at births and deaths is almost complete. And we are integrating the births and deaths register with the databases of the Ghana Health Service, the National Identification Authority, the Ghana Statistical Service, Immigration, and the police, so that the record of births and deaths
Asempa
is
FM.
consistent across all these databases. And this is supposed to start later this year. One of the most exciting things for me this year is that it is envisaged that every new child that is born in Ghana, when you are born within a few months, you will be issued with a Ghana card number. This is because we are integrating the births and deaths with the Ghana Health Service, with the police, with the statistical service. So starting later this year, it will be announced. The work is virtually complete, but starting later this year, when a child is born, just as it happens in America, it happens in the UK, it is going to happen in Ghana. When you are born, you will get your national ID number. Digitization and the integration of the databases will deal a severe blow to corruption at the births and deaths registry. Ladies and gentlemen, we also implemented the Scholarship Secretariat digitalization. In the past, candidates applying for scholarship usually had to travel from all parts of the country to Accra. But today, you can sit in the comfort of your own home, apply for a scholarship. You will be asked to take an aptitude test, and then you will be interviewed locally at the district. You don't need to come to Accra to apply for a scholarship. The Ghana.gov platform has also been implemented to make it easy to access government services. Government
Asempa
has launched
FM.
the Ghana.gov portal, which is a one-stop shop for accessing government services. This means that you should be able to apply for and obtain any government service online through the Ghana.gov platform. And when you go, whether it's passport, whether it's driver's license, whether it's the payment of taxes, all government services will be on Ghana.gov. And when you go there, all payments that you make for that service will go directly into the government account. The Ghana.gov platform, since we launched it so far, has received a total of 55.7 billion Ghana cedis in payments. And it is quite likely that if these payments, or many of these payments, were to have been made through cash, quite a bit may have ended up in private pockets. Digitalization has therefore dealt a big blow to corruption that is involved in the collection of payments by different institutions for government. Even the buying of electricity credit on your mobile phone through the mobile ECG app has provided relief to customers who no longer have to queue for long hours to buy electricity. Also, people whose credit runs out at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., they can just go to their mobile phone, buy credit, and they will have lights on beyond. Then we even applied it to the football tickets. To address the inefficiency and corruption within the ticketing regime for football, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, in collaboration with the National Sports Authority and the GFA, piloted an e-ticketing system for the recent World Cup qualifying match
Asempa
between
FM.
Ghana and Nigeria at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. People who wanted to buy tickets could do so on their mobile phone, and there was no need to queue or waste time for tickets or to buy them from the black market. I could watch from the dashboard hour by hour as the tickets were being sold, and I knew immediately when the stadium was full. You could watch it. It was a pilot, but it was a very successful pilot. And guess what? It yielded the highest revenue of 1.423 million Ghana cedis, the highest revenue for any football match in the history of Ghana. It was amazing. The highest revenue in the history of Ghana for any football match, because we went digital. They have never seen the revenue of that amount. So in the past, where was the money going? And they still don't understand the link between digitization and the economy. They still don't understand. Anyway, I was told yesterday that the football clubs have also said from now on, they also want digitization at their stadium. So the next Haas Kotoko match is going to be on digital e-tickets. And the system is going to be rolled out to all major stadia in Ghana. Digitization is going to deal a severe blow to
Asempa
the corruption in result in higher revenues for the club. We are also digitizing the distribution of premixed fuel. The issue of premixed fuel is one that has been problematic for fishermen in Ghana. The complaints never seem to go away because of the role of middlemen. Many fishermen do not get the subsidized supplies and have to buy on the black market as a result. In response to this, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture has begun the process of digitizing the premix distribution. And when completed, the registered fisher folks would be able to directly obtain their premix without the intervention of third parties. A similar exercise is ongoing by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to digitize fertilizer distribution, and that process is almost near completion. Now let's look at domestic revenue mobilization. Ghana has a major challenge in the area of domestic revenue mobilization. Our tax to GDP ratio is about 14%, compared to 27% for South Africa and 34% for the advanced economies. Most adults are outside the tax net, and compliance is very low. At the beginning of 2017, only 4% of the adult population of Ghana had tax identification numbers. Only 4% of the adult population at the beginning of 2017 had tax identification numbers. Broadening the tax net is therefore imperative, and in this regard, a number of digital initiatives have been implemented to broaden the tax base. To increase the number of people
Asempa
with tax
FM.
identification numbers, we took the decision to designate the Ghana card number as the tax identification number. So your Ghana card number is your tax identification number. Nobody needs to go and apply for another tax identification number. In doing so, the percentage of adults with tax identification numbers has increased from 4% to 85%. From 4%, from independence to 2017. From independence to 2017, it was 4%. We didn't move the needle. From 2017, when we began, and we changed it, we've moved from 4% to 85%. And they still don't understand the link between digitization and the economy. The SNIT, National Health Insurance, the TIN, Passport, Controller and Accountant General Payroll, DVLA, and so on, have been linked or are being linked to the Ghana card database. Today, your SNIT number is your Ghana card number. Your NHIS number is your Ghana card number. Your TIN number is your Ghana card number. SNIT and NHIA are no longer printing their own cards. The Ghana card is enough for them. They will not print, and they are saving a lot of money. They are saving a lot of money, and they still don't understand the link between the digitization and the economy. The integration of databases is allowing us to successfully
Asempa
weed
FM.
out ghost workers on payroll. A biometric audit of the National Service Scheme payroll alone, just National Service, when we audited the payroll, we found 14,027 ghost workers on the National Service. And we have saved government 112 million Ghana cedis just from National Service alone. Just one audit, we've saved government 112 million Ghana cedis. And we have started the process of audit with the Controller and Accountant General payroll. That is the next one, which is ongoing. Ladies and gentlemen, many people, including very highly educated people, find the process of filing taxes rather complex. To make it easier and less cumbersome, I challenged the GRA to come up with a simple mobile application to enable very ordinary people, our own market women, and very ordinary people file taxes using mobile phone and without filling any form. Simplify the process. And I am happy to announce that GRA has completed that work and will very soon, in the next few weeks, hopefully, roll out this new mobile app where you can file your taxes through your mobile phone. The tax filing mobile app has been designed specifically to make filing of taxes very simple. Once you sign on, you will be asked just a
Asempa
few simple
FM.
questions, and once completed and you hit the send button, it will calculate the taxes that are due you, that are due, or the refund that is due you. You can then proceed to pay using the mobile money or other channels. You will receive an electronic receipt of your payment, and you will also automatically, once you have filed and paid your taxes, you will automatically receive a tax clearance certificate. So going forward, nobody has to go and apply for a tax clearance certificate. Once you file your taxes, the tax clearance certificate will be sent to you electronically. So the era of fake tax clearance certificates is about to end. Then we look at healthcare. We have embarked in the area of medical records. We have embarked on the connection of health facilities under the Ghana Health Service on one digital platform. So far, all teaching hospitals and all regional hospitals have been connected and can talk to each other. 36 facilities in the central region have also been connected to the digital platform on a pilot basis. The process for other hospitals is ongoing, and we expect that it will be completed next year. If you are referred, for example, from a hospital like Tamale Teaching Hospital to Kolebu Hospital in Accra, you do not need to carry a folder. All your records are now already linked, and you will be seen and monitored by the doctor at
Asempa
Kolebu when
FM.
you arrive. Patients will only have one digital folder wherever they go. We also digitize the operations of the National Health Insurance Authority, and digitizing their operations has helped to reduce fraudulent claims. The renewal of all national health insurance registrations used to take place at various NHIA offices. This led to backlogs and long queues. In some instances, people slept for days outside some of the district offices. These delays hampered the operations and limited revenue streams of the NHIA. Following digitalization, renewal of national health insurance registration is by mobile phone. Star 929 star hash has eliminated these bottlenecks and has also increased access to healthcare by those who need them most. And this has led to a 70% increase in renewals. So we are seeing major efficiency gains. Ladies and gentlemen, hospitals and clinics in remote areas and largely rural communities like Nyangbosre in the Afajato South, Afram Plains, or Yunyo have difficulty in getting medical supplies, especially in times of emergencies involving, for example, snake bites, childbirth, blood supplies, and so on. Many lives are needlessly lost because the hospitals are unable to access critically needed medical supplies on time. To address this problem, Ghana opted to partner Zipline, the world's largest automated on-demand delivery service for medical supplies. Ghana is only the second
Asempa
country in
FM.
Africa after Rwanda to implement the delivery of medical supplies through drones, to remote areas through drones. There are 6 Zipline distribution centers so far in Omenako, Mpanya, Vopsi, Seshuvioso, Ketekrachi, and Enum. The next 2 and the final 2 distribution centers will be located in Funsi in the Upper West region and Kintampo in the Bono region. This will bring Zipline drone coverage to all of Ghana. Zipline has made millions of deliveries of medicines, vaccines, blood, and so on to very remote parts of Ghana and has saved many lives. I should add that Ghana currently has the largest medical drone delivery service in the whole world. In the whole world, we are leading in this technology. And what is even more impressive is that the drone centers, all these centers we've established, the 6 centers, are 100% manned by young, talented Ghanaians. 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, something exciting is about to happen. The pharmacy The Pharmacy Council, in collaboration with the private sector, has completed work on the digital platform for all pharmacies in Ghana, and the pilot of 45 pharmacies has been completed. Basically, the National Electronic Pharmacy Platform will offer the opportunity for everyone through a mobile phone to upload your prescription and find out in the first place which pharmacy
Asempa
near you
FM.
have the medicine. Sometimes you have to visit 5 pharmacies before you know where to find the medicine. So when you upload your prescription, it will tell you where the medicine is, and then it will allow you to compare the prices. Then it will allow you to compare all the prices to find out which is the cheapest for you to go and buy. And this is very exciting. You will be able to order the drug. You don't have to leave your home. You will be able to order the drug, and you can have it delivered by giving your digital address, and they will bring it home for you. There are a lot of sick people who cannot leave their homes. There are a lot of sick people who cannot leave their homes but need medicine. But if you have this platform, you can just order your medicine from the pharmacy, pay for it by mobile phone, and let it be delivered for you at home. The National Electronic Pharmacy Platform will be launched just in the next few weeks. And this will make Ghana, this is massive by the way, it will make Ghana one of very few countries in the world to have a national scale e-pharmacy platform. We'll be one of very few in the world to have it. We're in the education sector. We have provided Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi to 700 senior high schools. Free Wi-Fi, 700 senior high schools, 260 district education offices, and 13 public universities. And we have started the process of distributing laptops to teachers.
Asempa FM.
The next major effort on this scale is to provide tablets, and I know the Minister for Education is working on it. We want to provide tablets loaded with all the textbooks on the tablets to the senior high school students so that we don't have to carry paper and all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, with industrialization, agriculture, skills education, digitalization, our government is tackling some key challenges in this country. And these are key challenges we faced since independence. That notwithstanding, we have to acknowledge the reality of the hardships and suffering of people that people face in their everyday lives. In opposition, we promise to alleviate suffering of Ghanaians. So what have we done to mitigate and alleviate suffering? Ladies and gentlemen, the record shows that the MPP government, under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is a government that is predisposed and committed to reducing the suffering of Ghanaians. Over the last 5 years, we have implemented measures to alleviate or mitigate the suffering of Ghanaians. And I will list a few of them. We have paid the bills of some $1 billion annually in excess capacity payments to keep the lights on and to keep Dumso away. We have reduced electricity tariffs cumulatively by 10.9%.
Asempa FM.
When the previous government was in office, cumulatively, they increased electricity tariffs by 264%. We have reduced electricity tariffs cumulatively by 10.9%. We provided free water for households for a year during COVID. We provided free electricity for Lifeline users and a 50% reduction for other users for a whole year. The electricity tariffs over the last 5 years have been the lowest increase for any 5-year period over the last 30 years. It's just been remarkable. We've doubled the capitation grant for basic schools from 4.5 cities to 10 cities, 10 Ghana cities. We've created jobs and stopped the freeze on recruitment in the public sector. Hundreds and thousands of people have been recruited. Unlike the private sector, which laid off thousands of workers during COVID and reduced salaries, there were no layoffs of public sector workers during COVID. In fact, we rather added more by hiring 58,000 health workers during COVID. We have increased the share of the District Assembly Common Fund to persons with disabilities by 50%. We've exempted Kaya from market tolls. We've expanded LEAP beneficiaries by 150,000 people. We've expanded the school feeding program by 1.6 million, from 1.6 million children to 2.1 million children, and also increased the amount by 25%. We have restored teacher training allowances, restored nursing training allowances, established NAPCO with 100,000 graduates.
Asempa
And these
FM.
programs have continued, notwithstanding the current challenges which have resulted in sometimes delays in programs. We haven't cancelled or abolished the programs. We've abolished the 3-month pay policy for teachers who were paid 3 months only for sometimes working for 3 or 4 years. We've absorbed the cost of BECE and WACSI exam registrations. We've subsidized farmers with fertilizer. We have abolished or reduced 18 separate taxes. We've reduced corruption associated with obtaining public services by digitizing most of the public sector. We've provided 600 million Ghana cedis in COVID funds to small businesses. We've made it easier to renew NHIS membership, easier to clear your goods from the port. We've spent 25 billion Ghana cedis to save the deposits of 4.6 million depositors, and thousands of businesses which would have otherwise collapsed. We have implemented free TVET, and we have implemented free SHS, providing free tuition, free uniforms, free textbooks, and feeding to students. Over 1.2 million children are benefiting from free SHS. And when you look at all these interventions to mitigate the sufferings of Ghanaians, over the last 5 years, we have spent a total of 62.3 billion Ghana cedis. 62.3 billion Ghana cedis. This is the equivalent of some $8.5 billion. And
Asempa
these
FM.
expenditures have proven to be critical shock absorbers in this crisis period of rising prices for food and for goods globally. Ladies and gentlemen, just imagine what many households would be going through today if, in addition to all the rising prices that we are seeing, if in addition to all these rising prices, just imagine how they would have been if they had to pay their children's school fees, if they had to buy textbooks, if they had to buy uniforms, if they had to pay higher electricity prices, if they had to pay BECE and WACSI exam fees. What if they had also lost their deposits at the bank? If they were one of the 4.6 million Ghanaians who would have lost their deposits at the banks? What if Dumso was back? What if teacher training allowances were cancelled? Nursing allowances cancelled? and there was no recruitment of teachers. There was a freeze on public employment, no expansion of leave, no expansion of free school feed. What would it have been if these shock absorbers that the government has put in place were not there? Just think about it. Just think about it for a moment. Just think about it for a moment. We have spent 62.3 billion to put in place shock absorbers. And so it is clear, millions of households would have been in much worse shape without these social interventions.
Asempa
There are some
FM.
governments who were in office for 8 years without COVID, without spending any money on financial sector crisis, without dealing with all of these, teacher training, nursing training, all. They couldn't put in any social intervention. Not one. Looking around Africa, so many countries growing through this crisis do not have the social interventions that the MPP government has introduced. We, as a government, have been very sensitive to the plight and the suffering of Ghanaians. Without these shock absorbers, things would have been much worse for our citizens. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we are keenly aware of the challenges of these times. A few years ago, we committed to working with you to build a country in which every young person can hope and aspire and reach his or her fullest potential right here in Ghana. Everything we have done since then is in keeping faith with this contract we hold sacred. From our flagship programs in education, health, agriculture, industry, and digital transformation initiatives through entrepreneurship and youth employment, we have held nothing back in working towards this dream night and day. At the same time, I have been inspired by the achievements of our many young, brilliant minds in various fields, from sports through robotics,
Asempa FM.
who have risen to the challenge of contributing positively towards this bright future against the difficult odds and obstacles. It is amazing witnessing firsthand the handiwork of young Ghanaian craftsmen and women, budding cottage industry entrepreneurs with products whose quality and branding matches any in the world, and artists whose music and stagecraft have achieved world acclaim. Over the last hour and a bit or so, I have traced in what I hope is in vivid color the positive trajectory of our economy until the twin tragedies of the global COVID pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine caused to knock us off course. It is easy to forget, understandably, with the passing of time, the pandemic having been raging for 2 long years, the enormity and the impact it has had on the global economy and on ours too. But right at its very early stages, in April of 2020 to be precise, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund described it, amongst others, and I quote, as a crisis like no other, end quote. She went on to say that, and I quote, it is more complex with interlinked shocks to our health and our economies that have brought our way of life to an almost complete stop. The outlook is dire, and we expect global economic activity to decline on a scale we have never seen since the Great Depression, end quote.
Asempa
By the time
FM.
the pandemic was just a year in, it had compelled governments globally, including Ghana, to spend a mind-blowing $16 trillion to save lives and protect livelihoods of its citizens, and to ensure businesses stay alive to provide income to millions of people. Global debt to GDP ratios rose to 97%, with average fiscal deficits for even advanced economies reaching 12%. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sheer scale we have been dealing with 2 years on, with appreciable success, only also to be hit again by the Russian-Ukraine war in February this year, the full extent of the potential impact of which we cannot begin to fathom. But in all these, I am humbled by the overwhelming support we have received from the people of Ghana, from the groundnut sellers, the mechanics, carpenters, teachers, and students, through nurses and doctors, and everyone else in between, in facing down these storms to date, despite the hardships they have imposed on us. In the midst of the current challenges we face, we are putting in place key pillars for economic transformation of Ghana. Our progress has only temporarily been stalled. We may not yet be where we want to be, and we may be buffeted by winds of the pandemic and of the war for yet a little while. But we have made a great start, and together we will finish what we have started. We understand your
Asempa
desires
FM.
for a bright and prosperous future, a future that would have the resilience to better withstand shocks of the nature we are currently experiencing. I am excited about the prospects of the nation we are building, the brilliant minds being nurtured who are contributing towards this vision. We must allow our mindset to build our courage that we can be amongst the best in the world at anything. Some of our senior high schools are winning robotic competitions. We must believe in our capabilities and also do away with the impossibility mindset. We must believe in our capabilities. We are building a new economy. Under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for the first time in our history, Ghana has successfully issued a national ID card. For the first time in our history, Ghana has a digital property address system. For the first time in our history, Ghana has mobile money interoperability. For the first time in our history, any Ghanaian who has a national ID card can open a traditional bank account using their mobile phone. For the first time in our history, over 80% of adults in Ghana have tax identification numbers. For the first time in our history, Ghana is using drones for the delivery of critical medicines and blood. For the first time in our history, Ghana is implementing one district, one factory. And our government has facilitated the establishment of more factories than any other government since independence. For the first time in our history, Ghana has paperless clearing at our ports. We have digitized for the first time in our history the passport acquisition process. We have digitized for the first time in our history the acquisition of driver's licenses. For the first time in our
Asempa
history,
FM.
we have implemented a Ghana.gov platform. And people can renew for the first time in our history their NHIS membership on the mobile phone. For the first time in our history, we can apply for scholarships on the mobile phone. I'm not done yet. the first time, thank you. For the first time, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, for the thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So for the first
Asempa
time,
FM.
for the first time, thank you very much. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians can apply for scholarships on their mobile phones. For the first time in our history, Ghanaian students will be able to apply for student loans without the need for a guarantor. For the first time in our history, government is implementing a pension scheme for cocoa farmers. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians and law enforcement can find out the insurance status of any vehicle using the motor insurance database on your mobile phone. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided free electricity for lifeline consumers for a year at the height of the COVID pandemic. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided the 50% reduction for non-lifeline consumers. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided free water for their year during the COVID pandemic. For the first time in our history, we provided Wi-Fi to 700 senior high schools and 13 public universities. For the first time in our history, Ghanaian pensioners can obtain their SNIT pensions just after 10 days after application for their pensions. For the first time in our history, a nationwide e-pharmacy will be launched in the next few weeks. For the first time in our history, Ghana has implemented one constituency, one ambulance. For the first time in our history, we have implemented the Zongo Development Fund. For the first time in our
Asempa
history,
FM.
we are implementing one district, one hospital under the Agenda 111. For the first time in our history, we are implementing free TVET and have established the Ghana TVET service. And for the first time in our history, we have implemented free senior high school education. Ladies and gentlemen, as I bring my remarks to a close, it is important to note that this global crisis would have hit us irrespective of which government is in office. It is a global crisis. It would have hit us. However, how well we can come out of this depends on which government is in office and its track record of delivery. Our government has achieved a lot, and as a country, we have come a long way. We must celebrate our achievements, big and small, and not seek to tarnish or belittle our achievements for the sake of politics. I look forward to all of you doing your part in making our nation great and strong. We are on the right path with sound policies to enhance growth, fiscal and monetary policy discipline, and by the grace of God, we are bouncing back better and stronger. We will weather the storm. We will turn this tide.
Asempa FM.
We will continue to work tirelessly for the good of this nation. There is no doubt that the future of Ghana is brighter and safer under our economic management. Thank you for your attention. Long live TASCON. Long live the MPP. God bless you. God bless our homeland Ghana. Make her great and strong.
Asempa FM.
Anytime I feel lonely, feeling sad, only one station makes me happy. When I wake up in the morning,
Asempa FM.
only this station makes my day. Yeah. Oh, Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. Oh, Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. 94.7.
Cocoa dairy free coconut milk. Cocoa dairy free coconut milk. Yekube America, obo ade dua bakube ene ye de aye. Se wudi guti ana cocoa mu a, embo apo enti ema no pa aduane ye krabe hwankasa. Calcium ni vitamin D2 a ewo mu no. Emma wo se ni wo ndompe mu ye den. Vitamin D12 no nso boa ma wo moja no di efurusane. Cocoa de aduaba na ye de aye. Na Vegetarian Society a ewo UK agya tum pefi. Cocoa dairy free coconut milk. Jiba ku sesia. Etufon free telephone 027-444-0180. FDA ahwehwe sa edwadie nkrato yi mu agya tum seye. Cocoa dairy free coconut milk.
Hey, lala didi lala. Wa worry asodie. Na me de ye me Africa Queen Mackerel boneduma wo sisan. Africa Queen Mackerel ide wati ase owunia. Se wo de ye aduane a. E danson. Tomato sauce na egu ho no so e ye rich. Yes. E pisa wo. Nti e me aduane ne de ye strong kon. Enam no so hyemu ma. Na me kire se nam panko a. Wa wo beti ase. Na wo be checking so. Africa Queen Mackerel de. E ye grade 1 o. Na me say se me twa kwa me nkwan. Na me tu bi gu mu a. Na to ne ne term so. Honey, oba papa. Oh you ma. Me jo. Me just say, jollof, Gary photo, rice and stew, and piscine gravy de. Africa Queen Mackerel ni mo. Intimi nyina wo. Ampa. Africa Queen Mackerel. Shawenum keke, nam papa no.
Africa Queen.
Asempa FM.
Africa Queen. Shawenum keke.
Hey, it's me pan and me kita mi amike. Ecobank me damase.
Shy, cow the new.
Osei Ecobank, ye cruising.
Monzo bet me a cruise one kasa ukem. Esani Ecobank Auto Finance Packaging T. Koyen cardless a hudu PI no one year juma baby. Ye ka da wakumaso. Say a new car, say ye second hand. Why your mouse special discounts. Ecobank side and she share pabe boa with your car no kenina. Your mount interest rate and boa from cry. Ebe brimweni so. Oh, so when your accounts were Ecobank and money how cry. Sa kwenye da home promo bia. Enti enso saka no ho dae keke. Abebu awie. Preto free 0800 003 225. Anasa ko Ecobank nkrabata bebia na busa Ecobank Auto Finance Package. Ehihye kakra wo ho. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hey, you're the up and coming landlord. Who then yes where you?
Kwame, I me wie yo. Aka roofing and a ceiling. Na me contractor non so say. Me feni nyina enko dan rocksters. Won so wo kromo pa, wo dwen ho sen.
The contractor no nim ne ekọ. Ghana ha de eba no quality metal trusses, roofing sheets, plasterboard and POP ceiling dia. Eye rocksters. Enfie bebre ni na rocksters. Ade roofing sheet papa ne ho aka de asum Ghana for.
Enka yesi ya no mu die nso ebo.
Eni adufudi achi na nkotọ ade bone ne Sundache. Fre 0544 338041. Say your metal trusses, roofing sheet, plasterboard and POP ceiling dia. Fre rocksters na won twa wontum.
Abnenie, Mamia Okutachi me postronko.
I've been blessed with 3 beautiful daughters.
We seen bo say, obetutu ne mama mi ensani na brabo. Manesi si ye wo bibiare.
If you want to live in poverty without making something of yourself, you can do that. But I will not allow you drag your sisters with you. Never.
Shodoa emu ohye oyechre ne akomatie wo eno sini kaya Showmax edia benemu. Sign it up. Na hwe eno wo showmax.com. Na wonso sepe wo hu bi. Mu hia enhihye bia o.
Love. I love you so much, and I will love you like no one has before. Will you marry me? Hatred.
Look at Anna. She's always doing well.
Envy.
I want to be in a fairy tale too.
Betrayal.
Yana, what are you doing?
Yana takes her sister Anna's identity out of envy. Anna is back to fight for what rightfully belongs to her. Will Anna succeed? Catch the drama, twist and turns. Ruby Ring, coming soon on Joy Prime.
Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
Yo, chairman, what they go on for your side? Charlie, hard time, so see. I try say I go stake back for this side, sir, but I know they work. See, they also the job for this side. Oh, Charlie, yeah, wow. But why not the stake for soccer bet, eh?
You say what?
Soccer bet? Yes, they are back with the highest odds, bro. You for look sharp, oh.
When winning is important enough, you do it when the odds are not in your favor. But with soccer bet, the odds are in your favor. Bet on the highest odds in any soccer bet shop or simply download the soccer bet mobile app and bet anywhere. With soccer bet, stand the chance to win and get your cash instantly. Soccer bet, your best bet for sports betting. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. Gaming can be addictive, not for persons below 18 years.
Get digi with it. Get digi with it. On your mark, ready, set, let's go. CBG Mobile, USSD, Young Co. Star 924 hash. Funko the go. Smartphone no, young phone no, ever fire money transfer.
Asempa FM.
Light bill, factor credit. Star 924 hash. You deserve it. Let's go. Get digi with it. Star 924 hash. Get digi with it. Star 924 hash.
CBG is empowering you to get digi with CBG Mobile. Simply dial star 924 hash and get digi with it.
CBG, we stand with you.
Bedu Insuma Finance no Enunio Yenim say what can I share? Eye kwesi that 10th April Ewa Adum TV so Insuma Grand Finale no Ye desire brown Ye babe wuso West Hills Mall Ewa Accra ni Kaswa Kwantimpone so Where the any competition bill Eye fanfare mua Bra nebesha o finalists no Anita Enim Daniel Entry Keziedu Inshira Koto Francis Kadum Samuel Sam and a Lady Theodora when ye besuan Insuma Hini Anahima. Why not 20,000 cities in the coffee? Na nyoma bubuja na kaka hono so e. Wo de brehia yan e wo West Hills Mall. Agro de behia 4 p.m. 6 p.m. sharp na ye wo TV so. Adwentufo ekuku dambi so befa se. Ebi te se Obapa Christy, Kamido, Pat Thomas, na brana beche Insuma pass contestant no. Amunsu be di akro wo hobby. Eye kwesiada 10th April 2022 6 p.m. sharp na de brow ewo Adum TV so. Kayo eye West Hills Mall. Enkran Kaswa Kwantimpone so. Insuma ye shrine Adum TV ye wazo ye. document we nyina e wo se me ho adwuma na so mani a any mu stress enti na da me nom agbeve hebati no agbeve hebati oh okay ebema wa ya let e stress na firi ho kura
no kre me say manu agbeve tonic menstrual pains free me so agbeve tonic we ni mato anase koko hawa numbi
agbeve tonic die amwa ye fine mum
eba no malaria nso a agbeve fever na me die tutu egu abra maye malaria test ehunu se bi wo mu
na wate agbeve herbal mix capsules nso nka kan na ye powder se die wodi nsuo no mu a no apanka bia die egu so
agbeve herbal mix eno na sa me kunu sisi yare eni ayemutim esan ya afasi duro nso
me nso sa
na se me hia agbeve nro hina bia
ewo pharmacies herbal chemical shops apemfo abata omo manufo ne nkwada wo ni fiedum yenu nka ho atufo mfre agbeve herbal products for 020-813-0790 and 0246-595-256 FDA agi edwedie krato yatum.
Freshman capsules, a one memon pomudin, fresh cool capsules, a yema kuku,
fresh lady capsules, a woman maumutia or mufichukum.
Name or pinful or buy one more menu for now for that when you feed me new come home. 0243-559-319.
FDA Ashoshe Jadi and Cry to Mwaja to Muse a year.
Fresh products, hashtag Bobra.
Yes, pion, ya junior mwachile.
Pia whatever.
Yes.
Na, si a mehwehwe mpo woni bi.
Mi woni nyine.
Mehwehwe say cool.
Na die ni say cool.
Say cool natural mineral water ye nsu project a Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Aye CSIR Water Research Institute. Aye enye na kra. Sa wonom a wo miri mu jo form na enye kama.
Na ehe na menye bi.
Ko say cool natural mineral water for aso ye wonankase ningo kofodia su kwantempon no so. Say eye sachet bottle eno no wo size nyina bi enti fra wo 02690314110 ana baby a woto nsu bia wo benya bi. Say cool natural mineral water
absolutely refreshing.
FD ahwede say bi e magia to mu say eye
Asempa bia ba upesika akostati ejuma bi uhia bosia akyere udwadie mu woye government ana private worker ohia sika de ate hot bi so woye busumi ejuma ohia scan tempa bi so eni na quick credit be ma obosia mo atwa ne kakra eye collateral free loan na susu savings account opening deposit BRNim de hia ne se woye Ghana ni na wo Ghana card se wanye adwuma afiwe mu de kodia na wo na upe o excuse BRNim for quick credit it was 0302-200-390 ana 0596-920-833 number fufro biara frewa enye quick credit Shannon so say quick credit and loan ewo internet so enti shena obiara ndada Bank of Ghana amomu dwedie ho kwan na kaise nhyehyɛ da ho
Quick credit lending made simple.
Niatifo ne prehwehwɛ no eno na yenye ene se Ghana State Book Project Kwa Traditional Council ene Dasibra Advisory Board abomodi atro kwa amamre ene abakosem akongoma bakumu a sesiala ayakrado na yatu ne di Kwa State Book mechia kwa abakosem ngoma eno ntie fieda 15th April ene ntiri ne animpa ma ebeta yachi amia pa ngoma ehuntuma no ebebo ana akọ esuru jima mampo agya ahimfie ewa bene no akochia kwa wura Dasibra kwa mu agya pon otosumie
16th April 2022 Easter Memneda ena yepa nguma ihuntuma ewon Price Social Center anopa nondu na dwumadie no ahyase sada no yebekire kwawu amamre ne namane efefe
kwawura Dasibra kwa mu Japan otosumie no ebetena na dwam one kwa ohima nana juajemfo otosumiensa ama kwa omabo mu chidom Ghana mampani His Excellency Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo baby Vice President His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia baba Former President His Excellency John Ajekum Kufuor-Baba Former President His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Enso Aba Jumadi bi Afea Santimera Otikoko so otumfo se tutu otosumie no enso de nanu anyamba beta Jumadi achibi ya to nsafra hemfo a edimu akama mu ebi te se akwamu hene ochihene denchira hene ane tachima hene ogia hoho ya ojebi President National House of Chiefs Obabi Sansu na togba afede a otosu dunsia eyo hempon ewo Asogli State oye Former President National House of Chiefs. Oh baby, His Royal Majesty Nene Sakite II. Eye Kono Menya Krobo. Osansu Eastern Regional House of Chiefs President. Oh baby, Afeya Swafo. Emra Shebedwafo. Enyuma Hudu Mumpanifo. Mecha say ya to nsa Fregana Mainna. Upenchemua Fregana State Book Project in Penifo. I was 0506 127 322. And now quote Traditional Council Registrar. I was 0244 113 053. Ako mine at the Pana Bedrio. Enti mumi nyina mfa ho nhyem. Na dwumadi anwie payo. Asase aban. Yanti jai.
Ensuo mankwa, ensuo yenkwa. Nom Awake purified drinking water. Abudun swa eye krojin. Ensuo ne ma wahode tena ho abribia. Kai say Awake bottle ba ku bi a wo beto no. Ye sika kakra de kon National Cardiothoracic Center. Awake purified drinking water. One for life.
For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.
FD, I should say, in Kato Majatum say.
Franco Trading Enterprise still phone Papa Fie, Samsung near, Nokia near, iPhone near, say our printers, or mobile phone, accessories. Franco Trading Enterprise, Alpha no TV, I had this satellite, and the ultra panels, Bawumia.
Facebook, Sauko Franco Trading Enterprise page. Nasa likes number 100,000. Ayoma, anyone muniga. Samsung at www.francotrading.com. Android app, Franco Trading. Instagram, at Franco Trading. Nani Papa the 4 dosunti. Franco, the Momo pay code number 189480.
Your branches on the Bebre Wagana baby, Nemum, head office on the Twaya Dabraka, opposite Roxy Cinema.
Tema, Franco Community 1. One water works near the enemy. Cycle, opposite or rise. Madina, 100 meters away from the police station. Kaswa, Franco, opposite Kaswa Polyclinic.
And now for your numbers in 0246 422 338 and at 0546 133 188. Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phone Papa Fie. And you're not going.
Hey, it's me pan and me kita mi amike. Ecobank, me damase.
Shy, cow than you.
Osei Ecobank, yeah, cruising.
Bonsu bet me cruise wo wankasa ukemu. Esani Ecobank Auto Finance Package nti. Koyen cardless ahodo PI no onye adwuma bebia. Yika eda wakoma so. Say new car, say second hand. Ehwa ye ma special discounts. Ecobank sa den hihye pa beboa mo atua ka ne ho kanyina. Ye ma interest rate ani boa from kra. Ebe brim wani so. Oh, so when your accounts work Ecobank money how kra. Sa kwenye ye da ho mo bia. Enti enso sa ka ne ho dae keke. Abebu awie. Preto free 0800 003 225. Anasa kwa Ecobank nkrabata bebia nebusa Ecobank Auto Finance Package. Eshishe kakra wo ho. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
It's new,
Asempa
fresh,
FM.
and more entertaining. Asempa Showbiz Reviews.
We're about to take it back. You're rocking with the best.
You better come up with your favorite celebrity.
Beautiful Yvonne, how are you?
We made a lot of money back in the day.
We haven't had a real global artist from Ghana, apart from Osei.
Panel discussion.
Netflix to put your movie on their platform. If you can't match, you won't be there.
But don't forget, sounds will bet me a call into the show. No watch your wajane. Name kai. So by joining our various social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and the Kikahu. Asempa 94.7 FM. This and every Saturday, 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Asempa 94.7 FM. Near for your rejuvenated and refreshing weekend entertainment program, Asempa Showbiz Review.
You're from Merle. Don't miss it. Asempa Showbiz Review.
Bedu Insuma Finance no Enunio Yenim say what can I share Ekosiisen that 10th April Ewa Adum TV so Insuma grand finale no Yedisanya Brown Ye Babe Wusu West Hills Mall Ewa Accra ni Kaswa Kwantimpone so Where the any competition bill Eye 5 fair mua Bra Nebesha o finalists no Anita Enim Daniel Entry Keziedu Insura Koto Francis Kadum Samuel Sam and a Lady Theodora When ye besuan Insuma Hini Anahima. Why not 20,000 cities in the coffee? Na nyoma bubuja na kaka hono so e. Wo de brehia yan e wo West Hills Mall. Agro de behia se 4 p.m. 6 p.m. sharp na ye wo TV so. Adwentufo ekuku dambi so befa se. Ebiti se Obapa Christy. Kamido Pat Thomas na branda beche Insuma pass contestant no amunsu be di akro hobby eye kwesiada 10th April 2022 6 p.m. sharp na the brow ewo Adum TV so kayo eye West Hills Mall and crying Kaswa Kwantimpone so Insuma ye shrine Adum TV ye wazo ye
10 bet sports betting in them. Now Kosu Ghana. Brabeka gonna ho abra yema wa kense jump pimpin. Jackpots, free bets are any area. Boosted odds and any kika who bebre. Chow betting is here. What 10bet.com.gh. 10bet for the better. Gaming Commission of Ghana at Jinkatoya Tum. Ucha Susu and Yama will be on the field watch it.
Ago!
Why no?
Oh, me o Akosua nie.
Hey, Akosua blem.
Hey Joe, na den na wo dan ho nyina yesum kabisi. Na dan mahwe TV ne susu yi na fridge susu na eya adwuma.
Yeah, wano pasem.
Wo ya illegal connections wa ho. ECG wo mat task force security agencies eka ho. Ya wo mo eboa se na ebe ya ne ye boni sei ye betumi etu a. Bra etia sa na ye boni nyina e wo ho no mo ase ensa so mu a ye do ba kogina court ne atwe aso.
Hey, sa mom na tie.
Illegal connections emwa ECG mo nsanka eto a wo so mo nsaka. Illegal connections emwa enya enyinama hoɔden trodo. Illegal connections ebetimi meja atoto afiefie ne nnwuma awodo mu ene betimi nso ama light ibi ekiki nkrofo de bia.
Me show boss efiti na akui meja me ne ye bone a me ye.
Asempa FM
enam kwa bone so de enyinam kanea edi dwuma frɛ 0551 444 011 na eka biara de bobo sa nipa ko no ahamu nchichemu ensia ebeye wo dia.
Moma ye nyina nya oman bapa
na yensi illegal connections ano.
Asempa bia ba. Upesika akostati edwuma bi. Uhia bosia atre udwadie mu. Uye government ana private worker unye sika de ate hot bi so. Uye busumi edwuma unye scan tempa bi so. Eni na quick credit be ma obosia mo atwa ne kakra. Eye collateral free loan na susu savings account opening ni deposit BRNim. De hia ne se uye Ghana ni na wo Ghana card. Se wanye adwuma afiwe mu de kodia na wa na upe o excuse BRNim. For quick credit it was 0302 200 390 and 0596 920-833. Number for Biara Frewa and quick credit. Shannon so say quick credit and malone ewo internet so. Inti Shanna Obiara and Dadao. Bank of Ghana am momu dwedie ho kwan na kai say nhihye da ho.
Quick credit. Lending made simple.
Hey, you're the up and coming landlord. Who died yes where you?
Kwame, adan mi wie yo. Aka roofing and a ceiling. Na me contractor non so say. Me fani nyina enkodan rocksters. Wonso wo kromo pa, wo dwen ho sen.
Wo contractor no nimni ekọ. Ghana ha de e ba no quality metal trusses, roofing sheets, plasterboard and POP ceiling dia. Eye rocksters. Enfie bebre ni na rocksters. E di roofing sheet papa ne ho aka de asum Ghana for.
Enka yesi ya no mu die nso ebo.
Eni adufudi achi na nkotwa de bone ne Sundachi. Fre 0544 338041. Say metal trusses, roofing sheet, plasterboard and POP ceiling dia. Fre rocksters na won chawuntum.
It's new, it's fresh, and more entertaining. Asempa Showbiz Reviews.
Asempa FM.
Yeah, but
we're about to take it back. You're rocking with the best.
You better come up with your favorite celebrity.
Beautiful Yvonne, how are you?
We made a lot of money back in the day.
We haven't had a real global artist from Ghana, apart from Osei.
Panel discussion.
Netflix to put your movie on their platform. If you can't match, you won't be there.
But don't forget, sounds will bet me a call into the show. No watch your wajane. Name kai. So by joining our various social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and the Kikahu. Asempa 94.7 FM. This and every Saturday, 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Asempa 94.7 FM. Near for your rejuvenated and refreshing weekend entertainment program. Asempa Showbiz Review. Don't miss it. Asempa Showbiz Review.
Niatetifo ne prehwehwe no eno na yenye ene se Ghana State Book Project kwa Traditional Council ene Dasibra Advisory Board abomodi atro kwa amamre ene abakosem akongoma bakumu a sesiala ayakrado na yatu ne di kwa State Book mechia kwa abakosem ngoma eno ntie fieda 15th April ene ntini ne animpa mo ebeta yachi amia pa ngoma ehuntoma no ebebo ana akọ esuru jima mampo agya ahimfie ewa bene no akochia kwa wura Dasibra kwa mu Japan otosumie
16th April 2022 Easter Memneda and Nayepa Nguma Huntuma Ewon Price Social Center Anopa Nondu na dwumadie no ahyase sadano ye betire kwawu amamre na mani FF
kwara Dasibra kwa mu Japan otosumie no ebetena na dwam one kwa ohima nana dwa jemfo otosumiensa ama kwa ma bo mu chidom Ghana Mampani His Excellency Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo Ebebi Vice President His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia Baba Former President His Excellency John Ajekum Kufuor-Baba, former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and so Abba Jumedi Affair Santimera, Otikokoso 247 Otosumieno, and so did no Nyamba Beta Jumedi Chibi. Yatun Safra Himfua, a Dimuaka Mamu, a bit to say, Aquamuhine, Ochihine, Denchahine, and Itachimahine, Ojiahu Yaojebi, a president, National House of Chiefs, or baby, Sansuna Togba Fede, our Tosudunsia, Ayo Himpon, Ewo Asogli State, or your former president, National House of Chiefs, oh baby, His Royal Majesty Nene Sakite II, Eyekono, Menya Krobo, Osansu Eastern Regional House of Chiefs President, oh baby, Afea Swafo, Emrashebejafo, Enyuma Hudu Mumpani for, Metrase, Yatun Safra Ghana Maina, Upenchemua, Fregana State Book Project in Penny 4, I was 0506 127 322, and now called Traditional Council Registrar, I was 0244 113 053, Oko Mine, at the Pana Bedrio, and Timumi and Fan Hunsham, Najumadian Wepayo, Asasiaban, Yantijai.
Ohima, afidie, many church review.
Ate when you see Kapudu Biana.
Share, Bell Chillin, win promo. Madame Bell Cola, Puka, and at Tamarinda at Chillino. Let me cruise you or make Kia Picanto and Monochia on the
Sessing.
Bell Beverages say, a Brabia Roberto favorite Bell Beverage, say a squeeze, Bell Aqua Active, Big Boss, Bell Breeze, Bell Malt, and the Kekaho. Ye washes so the entire Honobay 20. Fashion envelope move for D and contact Kaho. Nafako Bell Beverages Depot, and I will distribute us our more memoir Fanabe Pia.